Yes. And we're live. Good evening, everybody. So we're here in Alberta, Canada, and we're here to discuss the international student to PR pathways, our experiences. So we can see some comments here. Hi, Abby. Hi, Kuya
Hello, good
Elvin.
evening.
Good evening.
Hello. How many people are watching right now? Are they watching? Let us
Well, they should.
Hi. Hi, Shazer. Oh, wow. Thumbs up. So you were here since 7:30. And hi, Sherwin. Are you answering someone? I think. Okay, we'll get back to you. Hi, Jura. Why are you sad? Shout out to Jura. Hi, Raymond. Oh, Raymond is from our group. I
Oh,
think from
hello,
SG to
Raymond.
Canada. I think so. Hey, Hamza from Pakistan. Hello over there. So, could you type your location below to let us know where you're from? Whoever is watching right now. Oh, there are 12 of them right now.
Yeah, hi, Sherwin, because I think he commented hello.
Oh, hi, Ron. Ron is here. She's yeah, my
Hi
friend
from Manila.
from Nova Scotia.
So all over Canada.
Hi, Carl from Manila. So how are you guys? How's your day? It's Saturday here, weekend, right?
Such a tiring day for me.
Why, Abby?
I was at work from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m.
Wow.
It's cold in here already.
What was that, Kelvin?
It's cold in here already.
Yes, it is. Wait, let me see. It's -7 here
Yeah,
in. Oh, by the way, I'm in Edmonton, and Kuya Elvin is also in Edmonton,
Edmonton.
Hello
and
from Calgary.
Abby is from Calgary. How's the weather in Calgary?
I think it it's not really cold, I think, but I'm not sure because I'm always at home. Or
Is it snowing
it was not. It was not, I think.
Really?
there?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Oh, that's strange.
It's
I
full of
don't
snow
But
here, right?
usually they go first. They
well,
get transferred the snow before us.
it's Calgary, you'll never know the weather.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You'll never know. So let's see who else is here. Yeah, Rowena is from Nova Scotia.
Gotcha.
Hello. And she's my friend from Singapore.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah. Hi, Jane from the Philippines. And Kath as well. Oh, I remember messaging them this morning from Karachi, Pakistan. Hi, Hamza. Yes, Juris from Calgary. Yay. Yeah, so how's the COVID there, Avi, in Calgary? I heard that we
yeah,
reached another breaking record, right? Like
yeah.
yeah, I think it's really extreme here in Calgary. Well, I was on quarantine for the past 2 weeks and I don't know, it's so extreme, like COVID is so extreme, but people are still going out.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's no COVID, but there is
Just
COVID.
like today here. My gosh. Everywhere you go here in Edmonton. Why there's so a lot of car outside?
even yeah, it's weekend, right? So they're still going
And oh,
out.
I hope it will not.
IMC.
Oh, MC is here. Hi, MC. I don't know how to read that. AO Jejemon post.
And also for Paul. Hello.
Yeah, hi
Yeah,
Paul.
from
Yeah,
SAFE. I remember him from SAFE.
yeah, he's from SAIT as well. Alumni. I have a lot of SAIT students here and alumni too. Yeah, so I heard about Toronto being on lockdown, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about in here in Alberta?
Alberta, we don't know yet. But I hope it will not. But the thing is, the cases here are getting higher every day, so we
Yeah.
don't know.
I
Yeah,
heard that the hospital bed capacity is reaching the limit, eh?
yeah, yeah.
It's really no joke. So guys, if you can stay home, please stay home.
Yeah, I'd
Let's
love to
help the
stay at home.
government. You love to, Abby.
Yeah, I'd love to stay at home.
Oh, you're still studying, right? So
Yeah,
you
I'm still studying, so
you study from home.
yeah,
How is
Mhm.
online
it
class.
going? Yeah, how is it going?
It was kind of tough and challenging because I don't know, like I'm not used to it, but it's getting better because I'm almost done. Like only few weeks left for fall 2021. Oh, 2020. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, my
that's nice.
sister, mate.
Oh, your sister is here. So,
Yeah.
guys, we're just waiting for everybody to come. Maybe in the next 2-3 minutes, we'll be starting with our live stream topic. Okay. So we're just gonna say hi to everyone right now and talk a little bit. So, Pamela Magno is your sister.
Yeah, she's also an international student.
Oh, hi, Pam. Oh, I think I spoke to
Yeah,
Pam.
from State.
Yeah. So, Carl has a question. So, is it true that Alberta will be controlling open? Yeah, so in terms of your questions, all of these questions, we'll have time to answer them later. So at the end of our live stream, we'll reserve time to answer your question. So you can just type it here and then we'll get back to it later. But for you, Carl, since we're not starting yet, so that's what I heard. It's not just open work permit, it's for all the.
Temporary foreign workers.
Yes. Do you have more information about that, Kuya Elvin?
No, I think it's for the temporary foreign worker who are still outside of Alberta, but I think it's for the open work permit, especially if you are dependents of international student. I don't think it will affect.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, I remember that rule coming out, but of course it's still a case to case basis. So
Yeah, yeah,
we'll
not
see
all.
how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, lady. Let's see, Lady J. Hi guys. Hello, lady.
My sister again, because she wanted your pathway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I told her
Uh,
to watch.
Yeah, so if you're very interested about EE stream, you might want to listen to Kuya Elvin because we just discovered AOS is also very good. So yeah, but yeah, I have videos about AINP Express Entry stream in my YouTube channel, so you can watch more about that, and we can also discuss it here. You can type your question, ma'am. We'll get back to it later. Yeah. Okay, I think we're good. We can actually start. What? Hi, Ron. Oh, yes, it will be recorded. So if you need to leave at any point, that's okay. I will be uploading it on my channel, and it will be you will be able to watch it. It's just that you cannot participate in the Q&A. Yeah. Okay. So guys, can you let us know if our sound is good or is it breaking? Can you give us a thumbs up if it's good? Can you try to speak, Kuya Elvin and
yeah.
Abby?
So yeah,
Uh,
Hello.
yeah.
I think good.
Is it good? Can you hear us clearly? Can you see our
Carl
video
has thumbs up.
clearly?
Yeah, we received thumbs up from Carl, so I
Thanks,
guess
Carl.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then if we're good, then we're good to go. We're good to start. So, again, welcome everyone in this live stream. For today, I have a very special topic that I want to discuss with you, and I invited special guests for this topic because, as you all know, I based my videos and the information that I share with you on experiences based on my experience and other people's experiences. So I invited two guests who were previously international students here in Alberta, but now Canadian permanent residents as well. But for the three of us, we have different pathways. So I was an AINP Express Entry nominee, and Kuya Alvin is AINP AOS. And Abby here, she's actually a student, and her husband is actually the main applicant using Canadian Express entry, Canadian Experience class stream. So this will be a very informative topic for today because we will hear a lot of different experiences, and we will learn more about different pathways for you as an international student in Alberta and an aspiring international student in the future. Maybe even for those who are not here in Alberta, but you are eyeing Alberta to work here and to apply for PNP, this is also a good live stream for you because I'm pretty sure you'll get a lot of information from here. So, as you all know, I am Melanie, and this is my channel, Melanie on Demand. I make videos for international students who are interested to be permanent residents here in Canada. And I did my application by myself, so I gained a lot of knowledge from the process. And now I'm actually sharing it through my channel, making videos, informative videos about the pathway. So if you're interested, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. And just a disclaimer, guys, we are not immigration consultants. We are just international students who are sharing our own experiences to you so that you will understand how it goes from those people who actually experience it themselves. So that's us. So please be aware that everything that we share here, it's just based on our experiences and it's information for information only. It's not legal advice or whatsoever. So please cross check whatever we're going to say here. Please go to the website or CIC website or Alberta website and verify the information. As you all know, the immigration rules change every now and then, and we don't know until when it will be applicable, right? So as of now, as of our experiences, these are applicable. Okay, so make sure you cross check that and remember the disclaimer. Okay, and okay, so I'm gonna give a brief outline about the topic of our live stream for today. So first, I'm gonna introduce to you our guests. So that's Kuya Elvin and Abby. And then we're going to discuss about our study permit application process and also our student life here. So Kuya Elvin is already graduated and Abby is still a student. We're going to hear more about that later. And of course, the meat of the live stream, we're going to discuss about the PR pathway. So Kuya Alvin will discuss about AOS, and I will pitch in about Express Entry AINP, and Abby will discuss about CEC. Then afterwards, we're gonna go to the requirements of permanent resident application. We're gonna talk about the English test, the ECA, the proof of funds, employment certificates, police clearances, 10-year personal travel history, and the certificate of nomination. And of course, the waiting time after we submitted our permanent residency and the PR approval. So afterwards, we're gonna go to the Q&A portion. Okay, so just type in all your questions and we're gonna get back to it later after our discussion. Okay, sounds good? Everybody
Sounds
okay? Oh, I can see a lot of thumbs up here. Is that for the sounds and the video? Okay, that's great. Okay, so now let's introduce our guests formally. Let's hear it from them. So I have a Facebook channel called the same Melanie on Demand, and I have this hashtag Success Sundays, which I started to post. Like every Sunday, I posted success stories about international students, how they achieve their permanent residence or how they got their study permit. So initially during the first few weeks, I had Abby in a Success Sunday and Kuya Elvin as well. So if you're following my Facebook page, I'm pretty sure you have read about their story, and now they're here in person. So virtually, you're gonna hear from them, so their experiences. So let's start with Kuya Elvin. Hello, Kuya Elvin.
Hello, good evening and good day wherever you are. So, yeah, my name is Elvin Galvi and I am from the province of the Gold of Mine. This is in the Oro, Mindoro. So from Oriental Mindoro. So um, my college was I studied in Northwest College here in Edmonton. I took up business administration with a specialization in accounting. So I started winter of 2016 as my first term, and then graduated on April of 2018. So my PR approval was through the express to the AINP Alberta Opportunity Stream. So right after I finished my 6th month of my work experience. So since I was eligible already to apply for that stream, so that's the time I applied for my AINP first, and then and then I had my PR approval. Okay, PR approval last September 14. So in spite of the pandemic. So right now,
Congratulations, Kuya.
yeah, thank you. And right now, at the moment, since there was a pandemic since June, I was laid off from my
Mhm.
work, and still right now waiting for an opportunity to come. But yeah, there are a lot of opportunities still coming right now to me. But the thing there is, I'm still choosing which one is really helpful and beneficial for me and for my family right now.
Thank you very much. So that's the difference, right? If you're holding a permit, you
Yeah,
don't get to choose. You just get what is whatever is there. But
Just do
now
it
that's
that
right.
then.
you're a permanent resident, you can just reject and wait for another one, or really just look for the best one for you, right, Kuya?
No
That's right.
pressure.
No
No
pressure.
pressure. No pressure of expiring work permit, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kuya. So let's hear it from Abby.
Hi everyone. Good evening from Calgary, and I believe good morning in the Philippines. So my name is Abigail Young. I am still a student at SAIT, and currently I'm taking up business administration, major in human resources. I came here in Canada back in December 2018. I started winter 2019, and hopefully I will be graduating by next year on winter 2021. Well, I supposed to graduate this December, but yeah, well, part of my PR pathway, I will just explain it like what happened. And I'm from Cavite, but I moved in Manila like before I left for Canada. And yeah, our pathway is Canadian experience class. My husband is the main applicant and I'm just his dependent.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Abby. So, Abby's still a student right now.
Yeah, I'm still a
So,
study.
so how is it going? Like the
Well,
state
it's kind of
curriculum.
tough. Yeah, it's kind of tough because we shifted to online classes. Like all courses are online, done through online.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm getting the hang of it. Almost done.
That's good. Do you have another semester, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I still have
Yeah.
last semester on winter, but it's gonna be my final one, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll understand why Abby's strategy later. Why is she taking still a student right now, and why she still had another semester left?
Yeah,
There's
I
a
love domestic rate.
very smart reason behind that. So you have to stay tuned for it. And I would like to let you know that Kuya Elvin actually has a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Why don't you invite them now, Kuya Elvin?
Yeah. I'm also inviting you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kabayan Canada. So these are all my experiences at the same time. Help for those, especially for the our prospective international students who really want to have more information on how you can come here and at the same time to become a permanent resident here in Alberta and in Canada. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So now you know our guests for tonight. Let's start our discussion about your study permit application process. So, um, I just want to know why did you decide to study instead of like applying directly to Express Entry or maybe applying for PNP? So, why did you decide to study and why in Alberta? So, Abby, can you let us know?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, like my husband and I really don't have any plan yet, like which province we're gonna go to. But I do. A lot of my relatives are in British Columbia. Even my mom is also in Columbia during those time. Like I really don't have any plan. Like my husband and I don't have any plan, and we're just kind of thinking like we don't want big cities, so it kind of
Mm.
stream down to which province we're gonna go into. So definitely we're not gonna go into Vancouver and Toronto because they're so big, and I think cost of living is kind of expensive, right? So and then we decided like why not go to Alberta, because Alberta, like their industry is oil and gas, and my husband and I experience is also oil and gas, so why not just go there? And yeah, we just chose Calgary out of nowhere. Yeah, seriously, like we don't have any plans. Like we just decided. I think Calgary is a good city. I mean, it's not as big as compared to Vancouver or Toronto, but everything. I mean, everything you need is in Calgary, and cost of living is pretty cheap.
That's true, though. But you mentioned that you applied to many schools, right?
Yeah, I did.
Did
Like
you?
yeah, I did. Like because I was kind of not really desperate, but I was kind of like, oh, I want to move to Canada, and during those time, like I need to find a school because I mean like our pathway or our plans really have changed a lot, so I need to find school immediately, and then I was able to apply to 6 schools, I think, all over Canada. Seriously,
Wow.
yeah, I think about 6 schools.
I'm just curious. Did you get in to all of those schools?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did. But you picked SAT.
Yeah,
Why
I
is that
did.
so?
And yeah, I did. I chose SAIT because, of course, SAIT is such a, I mean, when it comes to like education, I mean, no doubt they're such a good, they are a good school.
Well, both of us were actually
From
alumni
SAIT.
from SAT, so I would agree to with Abby there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Abby. What about you, Kuya Elvin?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of easy for me to decide to come here in Alberta because the family, the siblings of my wife,
Oh.
are already here in Alberta. So that's why it's the first, really first choice, and no other choice actually to where to go here in Canada. But the decision to come here at the same time study is was really based on our decision within the family, because I came from also from the UK, and I also studied in the UK. But since there
Oh.
was the immigration was tightened during that time, even for students. So we decided to come here in Canada and to continue that process until we become permanent resident. At the same time, we were convinced by her siblings to come here, and yeah,
Mm.
the same like with them here.
Mm. So, what year were you in the UK?
I We were in the UK 2011 until
Oh, okay, okay.
2014.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, 3 years too. So, what did you study there, Kuya Elvin?
Um, Still diploma in strategic management and leadership.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay. Yeah, so you've been to places, but eventually you decided to come to
yeah,
Canada and to
and
Alberta, right?
and a good decision for us.
That's great.
Yeah, to come
And
here.
what about the school, Kuya Elvin? Norquest.
Norquest, it just happened that when I was searching the school here, Norquest came up, and that's it. I
Wow.
didn't look for anything.
Thanks to the Google search.
I know.
They got a
Yeah,
student through Google search.
yeah,
Yeah, but you said your wife's siblings are here in
yeah,
Edmonton, right?
yeah.
So pretty much you have like the option for Nate, Norquest or Keanu. Oh, no, not Keanu. Makiwan, right?
Iwan, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you chose
But
Norquest.
yeah, just I was searching. I didn't ask them actually
But
about
it
where
turned
this
out
school
to
here.
be,
Yeah,
yeah,
but I was the one because we decided really to come here just to study. Then
oh.
and it came up when we were searching Northwest. So that's it.
Exactly. I kind of feel that.
Oh, you too, Abby.
Yeah, like if you don't have any plans like where to study, because especially like we don't know anything about Canada yet. So whatever comes up,
Yeah,
you're just gonna go
Mm,
for there.
yeah. And then we realize now that they're almost the same, right?
yeah, they are the
So
same.
wherever you
But
go, same thing.
It turned out to be good for you, Kuya Elvin, right? Because the
Yeah,
process of PR, the Norquest really help you, right? So I
absolutely.
actually pretty much the same with me. Your experience, Kuya Elvin. I have my auntie here in Calgary, so actually, I just searched schools within Calgary. I didn't search outside Calgary. And for my profession, the course that I wanted, the chemical lab tech program, is only at SAIT.
Mm.
So basically, I'm left with that option. That's why I waited for another year because they closed on me. So there's no more slots. So I have to wait for another school year. So yeah, I came 2017, fall 2017.
Mm.
So yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. So did you do your application process by yourself or did you hire an agency for that, Abby?
In our case, we didn't hire any agency because personally, like for myself, I'm really hands-on. Like I just want to process everything, and especially like paying for agency is really expensive, so it's kind of out of our budget during those time. So
Yeah.
yeah, we just process it by ourselves. Even from student visa up to our permanent residency application, we just process it by ourselves.
Then you saved a lot of money.
Yeah, we did.
And you learned a lot of things, right, along
It's
the
actually a
process.
nice learning experience.
Yeah. What about you, Kuya Elvin?
Yeah, because for me, when we went to the UK, we used an agency.
Oh.
We knew how expensive that was. When I was in the UK already, and then we decided to come here in Canada. That's the time I started researching already. That's why all
Mm.
the applications since I came here until we become PR, we did it. We did it on our own.
That's great. That's great. I hope you didn't get scammed for the UK.
But
I heard that.
we had also experiences of refusals,
Oh, I heard a lot of horror
especially for
stories
my
about
wife
that.
and my son. But all of those,
Oh yeah.
but the thing there is, yeah, just go on, because that we have a goal that you that I want you to
Exactly.
come here in Canada. So we continue, yeah, apply
Exactly.
one after the other. There were three refusals for them.
Yeah, I heard you mentioned that in a success Sunday, right? That
And also, it's in my YouTube channel during my PR approval. Yeah, I there
you
was a
mentioned.
timeline there. So yeah,
Yeah, if you want to know more about Kuya Elvin's study permit application together with family, so go to his YouTube channel and watch his video about that. Okay? Yeah. So now, so we've been approved with study permit. Oh, by the way, I also did my application by myself. So that's why, just like Abby, I learned a lot of things. And that's why I'm able to share those things with you guys because I'm very hands on with our application. Oh, by the way, I have a question. So are your partners helping you with the application process?
100%. For me, like in my case, like 100%. I mean, I wouldn't become a permanent resident without my husband because he's the primary applicant.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But for the application process, are they hands on as well? Are they helping you for everything?
Not as much as I am.
Not as hands-on as you are.
Yeah.
What about you, Elvin?
mostly she was helping me, gather the documents. But
Okay.
all the applications I did, even their applications, I was doing their applications here in Canada while they were in the
Yeah, I think
Philippines. I do
this
that.
is like very common with husbands and wife. You know, there's one very hands-on, and mostly it's the student who's very hands-on. But of course, they still supported us. Like, yeah, my husband wasn't really involved much in the application, but when we came here, he worked really hard for my tuition
Exactly.
fee. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's something, right?
I got financial support.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about our student life here in Alberta. So when you landed the first time, how did you like cope and how did you cope with the weather, with the new environment? Can you let us know the coping process, Kuya Alvin?
For me, because I've experienced already some. If we are talking about the weather, I've experienced some already of that in the UK, but not that much. But for me, I think it's my personality as well to easily adapt to any. any environment. That's why it's easy for me. But yeah, it was really a struggle, especially for the first 3 months looking for job here, even for part
Mhm.
time job. But the thing there is you need to have a network, connect to a lot of people here, make friends, and that's how it started for me. That yeah, I was connected to, and then I was referred to this and that work, and I got my part time job started.
Mm.
Yeah,
So it works as a referral system, right?
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What about balancing work and study, like being a student?
Yeah, but I think for the first year I was alone here, but I was living with my sister-in-law. So
Oh,
that's
okay, okay.
that's why it's really for me. I concentrated really more on work and studies. That's
Mhm.
why right after my studies, I went to work and even up to 11 o'clock in the evening, and then I traveled 1 hour, more than an hour, going back home.
Oh,
And then
mhm.
during winter time, when after work there was a snow up to few
Knee dip.
and then you need to travel use public transport, so it's kind of yeah difficult, I think, but you can cope it, yeah, you
So I think
can,
weather is really a big issue here.
yeah, but
We're
I
in
think
Alberta.
you
Yeah,
can get
you'll
used to it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So but you were able to finish your school, so
Yeah,
that's good. So you mentioned that during the first year you are alone, so your family
it's in
wasn't
the
here. Yeah.
Philippines. They were in the Philippines at the time, so
Okay.
but yeah, because I was um really trying to bring them here. That's why in my second year they came here already.
Yeah.
So
They're.
that's a big help for me anyway,
Mhm,
because my
mhm.
wife went to have a full-time job.
Yeah.
So that's a big help,
Mhm.
especially in paying my tuition fee.
Exactly, right? What about you, Abby?
It was kind of challenging. I think we came here December, so it's in the middle of winter, right? And we've never really experienced winter, snow, and stuff like that. So most of our clothes, it's not really fit into the weather. So when
Yeah.
we came here, like we really don't know anyone. We only knew my husband's godmother. That's the only person we knew here in Calgary. So imagine like the struggle of being in a new land without without anyone that you can talk to and stuff like that. So what we did, like when we came here, we actually stayed in a hotel for a week because
Mm.
like we don't have any place to live, like since like what I said, like we don't know anyone, so we just book a hotel for a week. So that's during those 1 week, like we were trying to find a place that we want, because when we were in the Philippines we're already looking for places to live, like to rent,
Mhm,
but
mhm,
then we don't want to pay because we're not sure, like maybe it's a scammers.
mhm.
I mean, you'll never know. We were just being cautious,
Yeah.
especially it's concerning money. So what we did, like after we already knew, like okay, we like this place, we need to do viewing, we need to talk to the landlord first. So within those 1 week being, staying in the hotel, we managed to get a room. We
Mhm.
managed to get an apartment, because even before we came here, like we're pretty sure that we were not gonna rent a shared room, because we're kind of choosy. It's our personality, it differs from other people, but for us, like
Yeah.
we were decided, like, oh, we want to stay in downtown because we think like it's closer to everything. That's what we thought, like in Calgary. Like, if we stay in downtown, we're close to all stuff that we need. And after 1 week, yeah, we found a place. We found, we're pretty much settled. We bought clothes because we didn't bring a lot of clothes, because we knew like the clothes that we have in the Philippines will not match the weather here in Calgary. So we kind of spent a lot. I think that's the tip that I would like to advise for other people. Like, you should have enough money for your first few weeks, because you have to buy clothes, you have to buy everything that you need when you came here, especially in our case, we don't have any relatives in Calgary. And after that, like after a week, I guess, or after 2 weeks, we traveled to British Columbia. We visited my mom's place.
Mm.
So we stayed there for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I can't remember, but kind of that long. So my husband wasn't looking for work. for the past 3 weeks. And even I, like, I'm not really looking for work during those times because if you're an international student, you're not allowed to work until you started
That's
your classes.
Mhm.
that's right. Mm.
Yeah, and I believe like we adjusted for about a month only because I mean we really wanted to be in Canada anyway, so whatever happens, like we have to adjust.
That's right. I want to highlight something about what Abby said. So, if you are moving to a no, to a location that is new to you, like Abby's experience, right? So, it's good to look out for places, but please don't pay yet. So,
Yeah,
I think it's very wise to rent a hotel first, just like what you did, so that you can view the place and get a feel if it's really good or not.
Mhm.
I
yeah,
mean, right?
especially
So,
concerning money. 'Cause, I mean, like for I know how hard it is, like being in the Philippines and you don't know anyone to the place that you're gonna go into. It's really hard. Like, of course, you're kind of worried, like, where am I gonna live when I get there? But
mhm.
I think you have to protect your money as well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially if you're
So,
budgeting, right?
yeah, just give a buffer time like a week. So get ready with the list of the
Yeah.
apartments or places where you want to go, but don't pay them yet. I mean, it's
Mhm.
still safer to pay a hotel in advance
Mm-hmm.
than, to give your money to someone that you don't really know and there's no guarantee for you to get it back, right? So,
Yeah, because I
yeah.
think it's very important as well, like to see the place first, because you'll never know. Like for example, that place is kind of sketchy. You'll never know, right? Unless you are already in Canada. So for us, like we kind of, I think we chose like a cheaper place. I mean, a cheaper hotel, because we only needed just to sleep and just to find place.
That's right. That's right. Thank you very much, Abby. So, what about your part-time work? Very interesting. Can you share with us your part-time
Yeah,
work as a
yeah.
student?
For my part-time work, I think I got it 3 weeks after studying, or probably a month after studying. My first job was an in-campus job. So, well, when you say in-campus, like I'm working at SAIT, and I think I was a call. What do they call that? I forgot the term, but
Student caller.
student caller. Yeah, they
Yeah.
call it student caller. So usually we're calling all the alumni of SAIT. We're just asking funds. I mean funds for the scholarship. So it was kind of challenging because the only available working hours was 5 o'clock until to 9 p.m. So like imagine like after attending classes, you have to go to work. But what's actually nice about it is that you get to choose your own schedule.
Mm,
Like for example, like if you'll be busy for the whole week, you can just tell your supervisor like I'm not gonna be able to work for this week, and the following week you can get all the hours that you need. But it's kind of I mean challenging because you have to call them. Like I mean being at school for many hours already, then you're gonna go to work after, and then you're gonna talk to alumni like asking, not really asking, but I mean like telling them if you can donate for the scholarship, because I mean we can help other students as well. Like it's really it's really tiring for me. I think I lasted only for about 1 semester and a half.
mm.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
my
have
first part time.
so we have you to thank for the
Yeah,
scholarships.
for the scholarship. And what's
Thank
actually nice
you.
for in-campus job, I mean, just for other people's knowledge, is that you can work unlimited hours if you're working in campus.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah,
As long
working.
as your body can work, just go for it.
So how does the schedule work? Like, can you get 20 hours per week actually? If you can
What I did was I'm only choosing 3 shifts. So it's I mean every day it's only 4 hours.
per hour, so
So I think
12
I
hours.
only got 12 hours or
Mhm.
16 hours. I mean if you can work so hard, why not get many hours? But in my case, like I can't because it's from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. Like I don't know, my body my body can't do it.
So there's no weekend during this.
There's no weekend. I think there's only Saturday, but there's no Sunday. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
there's only
So
Saturday.
for those who are going to say there, that's another good option for you, student calling. So if they're open, try to find to see if you'll qualify for that position. So
Yeah, because
especially
I'm
those. Mhm,
mhm,
yes,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Just in case, like, because I think in all schools in Canada, like, they do have career section. You can just check it from there. Because, like, for me, like, I don't know anyone from SAIT, but I just applied through online, and yeah, I got the job.
Mhm.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Filipino center agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they can benefit from there. That they are used to the job, so maybe that's
Yeah, they're
also a
more
good
used.
fit, yeah, for them. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Abby. So let's talk about after graduation. So Abby, this doesn't apply to you
Yeah,
because you're
hopefully
still
soon.
yeah, you're still a student right now. So for me and for Kuya Elvin, right after graduation, did you apply for PGWP immediately?
Yeah, immediately, because I already know what day would be the last day of my classes.
Mhm.
So I already, after that Friday, the last day of our classes, I already um, applied for or asked for the letter of completion, and at the same time my transcript of records. Because the good thing during that time was the IRCC is still accepting that letter of completion, not the transcript of record. But
Mhm.
that's why I can already I already requested for that letter. So just after, I think after 3 days or 4 days, the following week, I already got that letter of completion. So right
Mhm.
there and then, during that day as well, I submitted my postgrad work permit. Yeah, and
Perfect.
I waited for 3 months before it came.
Yeah, to get it, the physical one, right?
Yeah,
But because right after you apply, you're already allowed to work full time, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So
that's why it's very very crucial for the right after graduation that you apply right away when you get already your transcript records, because it will affect your work, because you cannot work until you apply for your
yes.
postgrad work permit.
Yes. So
Hmm.
the time in between after you get that completion letter and you applied for PGWP, you're not allowed to work right anymore, right?
No,
Because technically you're not a student anymore,
yeah,
so you have to apply for your PG.
that's
So
right.
that's what happened to me as well. But it took them about 2 weeks, I think, before they sent me the completion letter. But because I got a job even before I graduated, even before I finished my program. So I made an agreement with them that I will work after, I think, 3 weeks. So I didn't really violated that part of the PGWP. So that worked perfectly well for me. So what about you, Kuya Alvin? Did you get a job right after graduation or
No,
right
because I
after?
was still working part-time during that time. So since there was only what how many days, just I just asked my manager that don't give me any schedule
Oh,
during those times, but only just for 1 week that I
yeah.
didn't go for work. That's why
Mhm.
right after I informed her of, yeah, I can work now because I already applied for a postgrad work permit.
So you're part time.
I was
Um,
working at Tim Hortons.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So you just ask them to stop your to
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you a
just
1 week holiday
yeah,
in
yeah,
between. Yeah.
just 1 week holiday. Yes, right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, Kuya Elvin, just in case, for example, like if you, because I'm not into PGW because I already got my PR, but just for other people's knowledge. So, for example, like if you already have a part-time job, and then you already got your completion of study, you will stop. But then once you applied already, like for example, the following day you want to apply for your PGWP already, you can resume to work,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Once
yes.
you submitted your application,
Mm-mm.
Okay, right away you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
work.
right away,
like
right away.
early in the morning already, you already have your transcript records right now. Uploaded it in the evening, and then the following day you can go to work.
Mm.
So you don't need to resign. Like you can
No,
just
no
tell your
need.
employer like, just don't give me schedule for this day because I still don't have my,
Yeah,
application. Okay, that
but
makes sense.
some employers would ask you, no, it is fine. But it does for your own
Good as
protection
well.
as well. Just
Yeah.
to inform them now. No, I know the rule, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. Maybe we don't know what will happen during that 1 week.
Yeah,
Yes,
just
yes,
follow the
Yeah,
rules.
absolutely. Yeah,
exactly. You'll
it's
never know the consequences
yeah,
because over here they can trace everything. Like
yeah.
they
That's
can
right.
trace through your payslip if you work during
Mhm.
that time. So
Yeah,
you're gonna get like really problem in between because there are also some students who want to travel after school. So basically they don't have to apply PGWP right away because if they're traveling, it's okay, right? They're not working during that time. So they can just apply right after that travel. right? So that's applicable for them. But if you're working, take note of what Kuya Elvin said.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
sometimes they got so carried away with their situation here that, all right, after graduation, I still have 3 months, right? We still have 3 months to stay, because of your valid student
Work
permit.
permit. Yeah.
That's the problem, because the rule says that when you completed your course of studies, it says there that you have to stop working.
That's
It's
right.
it's even though you still have your valid study permit.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for highlighting that, Kuya Alvin. Yeah, so there you go, our student life in Alberta. And let's proceed to the main topic for tonight, the PR pathways. Okay, so I'm just informing you again, guys, that this live stream is just for information purposes only. Okay, we are discussing PR pathways based on our experiences. So please double check all the information that we're gonna share here, and please don't ask personal questions later. Just ask like high level questions about the process so that we can answer you. Okay, and we will not ignore your question. Okay, so for we are already permanent residents, the three of us, but we have different pathways on how we actually achieve the permanent residency. So and we are here in Alberta. So for my case and Kuya Elvin's case, we are Alberta nominees. That means we undergo a provincial nominee program of Alberta. And for Abby, their application is actually through Federal Express Entry, Canadian Experience class. So we're gonna start with Kuya Elvin regarding the AOS process. So we want to learn how AOS works and what are the eligibility. What do we need to know about AOS, Kuya Elvin? So can you share it with us, please? Thank you.
yeah. Okay, so first thing, when I after my graduation, I was able to work as an instructional assistant also at Norquest College. So that's the time that I already started to, you know to research about how can I be eligible to become a candidate or to become a nominee for the AINP. So that's why I need to, number one is I need to be a graduate of a publicly funded post-secondary institution here in Alberta. And luckily, Northwest College is one of them. So that's number one, eligibility. So number two, eligibility is I need to find a work that is related to my course of studies. Okay, and I need to have that work experience for 6 months. So that's why after 6 months of my work experience, that's the time I applied for my AINP under the Alberta Opportunity Stream. So because of there are two things as well to be eligible to apply for the um, Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program AOS. That is, you should have a positive LMIA or you are LAMIA exempt workers. And one of those in the LAMIA exempt workers is the postgrad work permit holders, which are the students. So I think that's the highlight of the qualification to become eligible to apply for the AINP, because some of in other other eligibility requirements are all in your hands already, like the English test. You have to have that English test, and yeah, I just confirm it that you need to have an ECA as well, uh,
Mm.
and then your job, right? So you have to have that job offer letter and your record of employment, and the letter from your supervisor about your job. And I think that's all the highlight of the AANP AOS eligibility.
I have a question because somebody asked me, Kuya Alvin. So for AINP AOS are open work permit holders who are spouses or common law partners of international students. Are they qualified to apply through AOS?
No,
So they're not qualified.
unfortunately, no. But before AOS, they were. But when they changed it to AOS, so all those dependents and open work permit holders of the international students and even the temporary foreign workers, right? Because they can bring also their families here, and they were also, or they are also open work permit
Yes,
holders, but they are not
yes.
eligible to apply for the IINP
Oh,
AOS. But
okay, okay.
they can apply through the pathway that you did.
Oh
The
yeah, through AANP.
yeah,
Yeah. So in AOS, the international students, they just need 6 months
6 months.
of related work experience related to the study that
Yeah,
they did, right?
yeah,
Here in Alberta, right? It
yeah, yeah.
can it be from other provinces?
No,
It cannot be from other
Filipino.
provinces.
Yeah,
So it
because
should be. Yeah,
yeah, it
so
should be here.
yeah, pretty much it's like a Canadian experience class of Alberta.
That's right.
Right? But if you are a student, you only need 6 months.
6 months. Yeah,
But if
six
you are a worker here, you need a year.
year.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So
Okay.
basically, you really have a high chance of becoming PR,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Through AOS. It's
AOS. AOS.
but
Yeah.
there's one thing about AOS that's very different, right? Because this is a paper-based application. Am
Yeah,
I
that's
right?
right. Yeah. Because you can only apply when during my time and until I think November 1st or October 1st that you need to apply it only on paper.
Yeah.
But they changed it last October.
Mm.
You can only apply not on paper but through the AINP portal.
Yes.
And
Yes.
another change there, and at the same time in the portal, when you put all your information, they will, and after you fill up all those informations in the portal, they will show you if you're eligible, ready to apply. So that's a good
That's
thing.
very
You know,
good.
that's a
Yeah.
good thing because you can already know if you're eligible already. But
Mm.
another thing is there is a fee already now.
Yes.
It's free. It's free. But
Yes.
now you have to pay
Five
500.
hundred. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
on top of the PR application.
Not yet. You have to
Yeah.
finish first your AINP and pay the 500. And when you get your your PR, your AINP certificate of nomination, then you're
Mhm.
gonna be paying differently for the PR applications.
Is it refundable just in case, for example, like if you get refused? Because of course it's money, right?
No,
So
it's not non-refundable.
okay.
Yeah,
Mm. That
unfortunately.
That's true. Because during when I applied to, it was free. So there you don't have to pay anything. But after October 1, because they made the online portal, it's probably for that service
Yeah,
that you need to pay for. But still, that's cheaper compared to other provinces, actually. So $500 is still way cheaper.
yeah,
So as you mentioned, the AINP portal, so you need just there's a screening process. You said, is it?
yeah.
So
That
there,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
because you
So
if you already put all the informations that they ask for you, because there are a lot of questions there that you need to fill up, and uh, and it will just show you if you're eligible already. Yeah.
I
Are
just want
all
to highlight. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Go, Abby. It's
I just
okay.
have a
That's
quick
fine.
question. Like, are all programs eligible for AOS? Like, for example, like if you studied in an Alberta school, are all programs eligible to apply for that?
Yes, as long as the crucial there is your job that is related to your course of studies,
Hmm. Are
right?
you mentioning about the certificates a while ago? So,
Because there was also a change, the plan changes that happened last January. That if you are only if you are only taking post secondary certificate, which is 1 year, because that is an entry level certificate, it's not anymore eligible to apply for the AOS. Only
hmm.
those who have the 2 year course or the diploma, which, even though it is post secondary, that is eligible to apply for AOS. But how about those post and then post grad? or post baccalaureate certificates is still eligible, but not the entry level certificates.
Okay, thank you for
You are
confirming.
going to apply here in Alberta to ask the school if your course that we're going to be taking here is an entry level certificate. That's
I
why it
think there are lists of I believe there are lists of programs eligible for that because I kind of came across to that site before, but yeah, I
That
think
could probably be with the express entry stream. There
mhm.
are, yeah, there are, oh, not programs, there are NOCs that are
NOC.
ineligible, yeah, for that. So another thing, Kuya, about AOS. So this is not employer based, right? So I
Yeah,
just want to highlight this.
this is non-employer based, but it is mostly work related application because it's
So
not
you,
any. Yeah, as long as your employer or the company that you're working is registered in the here in Alberta, they are they are eligible to not to nominate you because before because there was an employer driven stream that
Mhm.
they will go first if your employer is eligible, but now it's not anymore the issue. The
Yeah.
issue here is our own eligibility.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's okay, guys. I just want to highlight this part of AOS because I've been researching about AIPP. I'm gonna release a video very soon about AIPP, and this the comparison between AIPP and AINP AOS. So AINP AOS is not employer driven, meaning the you have to start your process by your own and you don't need the participation of your employer. Your employer doesn't have to be designated or whatsoever. You just need to get a job that is related to the studies that you did and you need to work with them for 6 months. So
Mhm.
once you got that done, you can apply for AINP AOS. Okay, so that's a very crucial thing in comparison to AIPP because for AIPP you need to choose a designated employer. They need to give you an offer letter, and then this offer letter will be submitted to the province for designation or whatever. Yeah, I'm learning about the process. I'm actually almost done with the video, so guys, watch out for it. But what strike me the most, the difference is that AI and PAOS is not employer driven. Means you don't have to wait for anybody for
Mhm.
for your employer to submit this and that.
Yeah.
You can just apply and wait for AINP for decision, right?
Yeah. You
That's
just
it.
ask your employer for the certificate of employment
Mhm.
and your job offer. And then later on, maybe before they release that's the last step, they will ask for your last four or last two payslip.
Okay, so you have to be working in the
You have
same
to be working.
job
Yeah.
while you are applying for
Yeah.
AINPOS. Yeah,
Should
so
it
you
be
just
like a permanent job or what if, for example, like
No,
right
not
now?
necessarily. As long as it is 1 year long.
Okay, continuous, I
minimum.
Even though
assume.
it's
Yeah.
just temporary.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, okay. That's good to know. Thank you very much, Kuya. We're learning something here.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, it's
that's the
actually
perks of studying in Alberta. Like you have that option. For example, like if you already exhaust CEC or FSW, you still have another option, which is AOS.
yeah, yeah. So, and AOS, guys, again, is a paper-based application, meaning you don't have to go through express entry. You don't have to make a profile. So what happens is a lot, just like what Kuya said. Once you get a certificate of nomination, you're gonna submit your permanent resident application to IRCC by post. Is it
Yeah.
by
That's also
post?
my post. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. So that's pretty much the AOS, Alberta Opportunity
I'm
Stream.
just
So,
curious about the time because I'm not really familiar with AOS. Like I kind of knew it with
mm.
Kuya Elvin, but for the timeline, like because I think
Oh
every
yeah, let
yeah, every
share with us
pathway or
the
every
timer.
stream has different timelines.
Yeah. Sure. That's why it's very important to have that 3 year post graduation work permit. Because if it is just 1 year, it may not be enough because we don't know the timeline or the processing time for the AINP. Because you need to have an experience under the post graduation work permit. That's why you
Mhm.
need to have that document first before you can count that 6 months. right? Because not, you cannot count when you were still a student, even though the same job that you're working, you cannot count that as a work experience.
Yep.
You need to have that work permit, that postgrad work permit, before you can count 1 month of that. And you started from there. So one up 6 months. So after 6 months, you can apply for the AINP. And now the process during my time, the processing time was 6 months as well, right? 6 months as well. So it's just, it's just on the edge of you being not allowed to continue
Yes, that's
and
right.
run out of your postgraduate recruitment if it's only 1 year. So and that's why it's very important to 1 year, and then you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait for you to get. It will take time for you to get your, the very important and precious um, file number
Is
from the
that the certificate of nomination?
no, that's a certificate of
Oh, you
nomination.
mean for AOR? Yeah.
Yeah, for the AOR, it will take time, for them to release that because sometime now right now some of the my I've known somebody who applied and until now they have not received anything, and
Mm.
they applied already what June of this year.
Is that for AOS?
Yeah, for the AOS as well.
Oh, okay,
When they
okay.
apply for the PR, it would really take time. So that's why it's very important. But the thing there is, if you even though you already submitted your application, I don't know if you are already if you can already apply for your bridging open work permit.
Bridge.
So that's very crucial
Mm,
because if you don't have that, I don't know if you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you can already apply for the bridging open
mm,
work permit.
But can you
mm.
track your application? Because I know it's paper based. Can you
Yeah,
track it
yeah. That's why
online?
when you get your AOR, you already have the file number. You can just link it in your CIC account, and
Oh,
Oh,
there
that
you
okay.
can
then. Okay.
monitor anything. Yeah,
But
and the
for the
Oh,
processing time.
nomination, you cannot
No,
yet.
you can't.
Okay.
No, you
yeah.
can't.
Only when you get an AOR the file number, then you can link it to
Link.
your MyCIC account.
Yeah, that's right. And then you can
Mm.
monitor it because the processing time for the AOS for the ANP paper base is 18 months.
But it's
18
worth the
months.
wait.
Okay, so that's probably one of the negative part of AOS. It's the long processing time, but the eligibility part is really very, I would say, easier, right? And more achievable for most applicants, right? So if I'm getting this right, Kuya Elvin, you are recommending students not to study a 1 year program
Yeah.
if you're getting AOS, right?
Even you come here in Alberta.
Yeah, yeah,
Unless
because
otherwise, unless when you go for your express entry, that your 1 year study will make a big leap of your score in the CRS.
yes, yes,
I
for,
think it's okay. But if you
yeah.
are maybe lower, still lower from 450, I don't think I would recommend a 1 year program.
That's right. So for AOS, if you finish your program, you're on PGWP, you get a job that is related to your studies, you work there for 6 months. So that's already 6 months of your PGWP,
That's right.
right? Then you apply for AOS, even if it's just 1 day, that's already six
Yeah,
months, right? And you wait for the
yeah,
AOS to reply back to you,
Yeah.
God knows when. So maybe another year, another 6 months.
yeah,
So in
yeah.
1 year, you'll get a nomination,
That's
but
right.
that's not enough for you. I mean, that's not the stage where you can apply for bridging open work permit, right?
Yeah,
You can only apply once you already have your AOR or something when you apply
yeah.
for
I'm not
permanent
sure about it,
residency,
but
right?
the thing there is, it's very crucial for you to have that, to have that timeline
Mm,
Oh yeah.
because at the same time, the processing time you cannot say, even though experience is 6 months, you will never know. It may take a while because they also consider your work, your job, right? Because if it is on the high demand, or it is the high demand, or the application is there were a lot of applications in your category, then it will
high volume.
yeah, high volume. That's right. If there's a high volume in your category, it may go farther than 6 months.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for that tip. Yeah, so that's for AOS, but for Express Entry Stream of AINP, it's a little bit different because that's actually linked to Express Entry. So I have a video about this, the AINP Express Entry Stream. If you can try to find it in my channel, it's about the PR pathways with my collab with MC about Alberta versus Nova Scotia. So yeah, go to my channel and watch it. I actually made a step-by-step process on how it was done based on my experience. So that's a very informative video. So I hope you do check that out. But the main difference between AINP AOS and AINP EE stream is the process of application, because in Express Entry stream, AINP is actually picking out candidates from the Express Entry pool, and you only have need to have minimum of 300 CRS score. And there are factors that will increase your chance of being invited. So that's all in my video there. And the processing time is actually shorter, because for me, I got, and by the way, you also don't need to get an experience, 6 months work experience. So in my case, I had work experience, but it's outside Canada, and I got a job which is related to my study. And right after I uploaded all my documents, like the job offer, which is not LMIA, and then my completion of studies, 2 days later I received a invitation to apply for Express Entry Stream. So in that case, I was chosen by AINP, and I don't have a working experience in Alberta yet. So that is possible, but that doesn't mean that it will happen to everyone. Okay, so watch that video. We are short of time here, so I'm just gonna put it there. Watch that video and make sure, and hopefully you'll learn from it. And if you ever you have more questions about EE stream, just type it in the comment section. Okay.
Yeah, but I just have a question for your pathway, Ate Melanie. It's just a quick question. Do
Mm.
you think like what are the factors that the province will invite you? Because I think like
So
for example, like what you said, you should have above 300 points, right? But not everyone will get the nomination.
yeah. So basically, in the requirements of eligibility, they have the minimum eligibility, right? So you have to be in the express entry scheme, and you have to have minimum 300 CRS score, and your job should be in demand in Alberta. This is the crucial part, because you don't know what is in demand in Alberta. They
Oh,
don't
okay.
have that list. It's not available for everyone. So it changes every now and then. So yeah, and so that's the minimum. So a lot of people in express entry stream candidates there, they're actually qualified, right? And you have,
Mhm.
oh, I forgot, this is very important. You have to choose Alberta. When you're creating your express entry stream, you have to make sure that you pick Alberta, or you choose all provinces. So
Mm.
you are interested to go to Alberta. So that's one very important thing. So that's the minimum eligibility. And then you have like factors increasing your chances of being invited, which is if you are a graduate in a post-secondary school in Canada. Oh, by the way, this one, I was actually wrong in my video. I mentioned there that its own, if you have to be a graduate in Alberta, but actually you don't have to be a graduate in Alberta only. You can be a graduate from any other schools in Canada. So you have to be a graduate, not just in Alberta. It can be for other schools and for other provinces. And then after that, if you have relatives in Alberta, and if you have a job offer in Alberta, so make sure that for students who are in Alberta right now or any other provinces, when you created your EE profile, upload all the documents that you have regarding your job offer. So if you have a job, if you got a job, even though if it's not LMIA, just upload it and make sure you check all the minimum eligibility for Alberta EE stream. Who knows? Maybe your job is actually in demand. So in terms of job offer, you have to be working in Alberta. Okay. So you can be studying in other provinces, and after your studies with your PGWP, you go to Alberta and then try to find a job here and then apply for AINPEE stream. So that's the beauty of AINPEE stream. You don't have to be a student here. You just have to make sure that you have a valid job offer and you're working in that job. Yeah.
So will you recommend, for example, like for people who have OWP, will you recommend for them to have an express entry profile already? Because you said like I mean, it's not within our control. So maybe like our OWP may be invited, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Abby. So I actually have a friend here in Edmonton who is wife of a student, international student. She was actually chosen to be an AINP nominee because she found a skilled job and she has an express entry profile. And during the last draw, June 17, they were invited. They were so lucky. They were actually they received a notification of interest from AINPEE stream. So AINPEE stream is flexible. It's for students, it's for workers, it's for OWP, but you have to be in express entry pool in order to qualify. Nothing will happen if you're not in the pool. So make sure you are in the pool. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So my pathway is actually kind of related to your pathway, right? To the Canadian experience class, right?
Yeah, because we both
So,
went under express entry.
so can you share about something about Canadian experience class?
Yeah, so I would like to emphasize that in our case, I am the SP holder, student permit holder, and my husband is the open work permit holder. So for our case, my husband is the primary applicant for our PR application, and I'm his dependent. So basically, like the minimum eligibility requirement for CEC or Canadian Experience Class is you have at least, I think, minimum of 1 year Canadian experience. Well, it should, well, I would say like it doesn't need to be LMIA based. Even though you don't have any LMI based, you can still, I mean, you can still apply for CEC. But you should take note that these jobs should fall under NOC 0, A and B. Any other NOC like C, D, I don't think they will be eligible for Canadian experience class. So I would like to share our experience because even before we came here in Canada, we were actually eyeing for federal skilled worker, which I think our points was sitting at 438, and during those time like the draw was about 440, and there was even a time like the draw was 438, but I think the cutoff was April applicant. I think April, those applicants who submitted on April, but ours like we submitted on August. That's why we didn't get, that's why we didn't get the invite. So that's
That's
actually
a
sad.
tie breaking rule.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking because I thought we're kind of close to it, but unfortunately we're not. That's
Oh.
the time that we decided to study in Canada, because I think like one of the factors to increase your points is if you have a Canadian experience or if you studied in Canada. So even before, like we were already eyeing for Canadian experience because we're already 438. We were sitting at 438 points, and if my husband gained 1 year Canadian experience, our points will be 481, which is already enough or sufficient to be invited. So that's our original plan. So what we did was like we already have a timeline. Like my husband's supposed to get a job. I think around March. Like we were eyeing on those timeline so that we can apply even before I graduate. And luckily, I mean, well, prayer works. Luckily, he got his job on January, like 1 month after we arrived in Canada. And his first job was a temporary base, like it's only for 9 month contract, but it is an OCB. That's why I told him, or like we just talk about it, like you just have to go for that job because even though it's temporary, it will accumulate your Canadian experience. It will count towards one year, which is one of the minimum criteria to be eligible for Canadian experience class. But luckily, middle of his contract, I think it was about 6 months. Well, I can't remember the exact timeline, but 6 months after, like he was moved to a permanent role, which is actually nice, which is nice. So before that, we already knew, like when he got the permanent role, we already knew that we will be able to apply for Canadian experience class by February of this year. When we already found out about it, we decided that I'm only going to take the minimum full-time courses, which is I think in SATE it's only. only 15 no, 9 units.
9 units. Yeah.
Only 9 units, so it's equivalent to 3 units. So for my second semester, third semester, I'm only taking 3 courses. And we also decided to do that one because it's really expensive. I mean, paying for
That's right.
international is way expensive than domestic. And we already have, I mean, we already forecasted that we will become PR by this, for example, by this certain months already. So yeah, that's what we did during those time. And speaking for Canadian experience class, like what I said, your husband or your OWP do not need LMIA to apply for CEC. What you actually need is only 1 year Canadian experience.
Just I just want to highlight something, Abby. Okay,
Okay,
so Abby was saying a while ago that for her second semester she didn't enroll in a full load, right?
I did
Because
not.
full load was actually what, 15 units, so
15
five
units.
subjects, right? So because you are already expecting that you're gonna apply for permanent residency, you just maintained the minimum amount of credit for you to be full time.
Yeah, because yeah, I
That
need to do that because if I don't maintain my full-time status, my husband cannot work.
Yeah, exactly. So you chose 9 units and you paid
I think 5,000 as compared to
5,000.
10,000 during those time.
That's very smart. Yeah.
Yeah, because of course, I mean, we need to. We're trying to budget as well because it's really expensive. Like what I've said, paying for international fees is way expensive than domestic. And I mean, our main goal is to become permanent resident, and we're not really eyeing for it. Like you have to finish this. I mean. We're not really eyeing for it to finish the education by 2 years. What we were eyeing is to become permanent resident. So that's what we did. Like for
Yeah.
the past 2 semesters, I'm only taking 3 courses.
Yeah, so that's a good strategy for Abby because their application for permanent residence is actually based on her husband.
Yeah,
So remember, guys, if the student will be the main applicant, that would be a problem because it will take you longer time to finish the program, to get TGWP, and to get Canadian experience class. So it won't work if the student is the main applicant for your PR application. So for Abby, it's perfect because you can extend your studies until 5 or 6 semesters because after permanent residency, then your rate will be local, right? It's gonna be like
yeah.
1/3. How
And
much are
what?
you paying right now
It's
for
only 2,000 for 5 courses. So good, right?
2,000 for 5 courses, and you
Yeah,
have a
for five
student loan,
courses.
right?
Yeah, I do have like grants and loan. And I would like to add for Canadian experience class, like in my husband's case, his job in the Philippines is not really connected to his job here in Canada. So regardless, like for example, my husband was an engineer in the Philippines, but his job here is data analyst. You can still apply for Canadian experience because what they are strict. I mean, they're kind of strict about NOC. So just remember, like, your job's supposed to fall under NOC 0, A, and B for you to apply for Canadian experience class.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very true, Avi. If you're gonna apply in federal skilled worker class, your previous work experience, just like mine, should be related to your NOC. But if you're applying for Canadian experience class, it doesn't have to be related to your previous work experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and the timeline as well is as compared to other streams. In our case, it's quite faster because
It's
imagine we got
fast.
our yeah we got our permanent residence approved within 4 months.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's really
see,
faster.
wow. And the total application from the time that you arrived in Canada?
It's only 1.5 years.
Perfect.
I'm still a
Good
student.
for you.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to finish my education within this semester, but like what I said, like I had to cut off my courses, like just to budget. And we were already forecasting. So what I would say is like make sure you already know your standing because I mean you'll never know you can apply for CEC.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, like for everyone's knowledge as well, like it doesn't mean you already have 1 year Canadian experience. You will immediately eligible for CEC because you also since you're applying for express entry, you have to consider the points as well.
That's right. And you are, as what you mentioned a while ago, you are 438. So you
Yeah, we
are
were
on the
sitting our uh,
borderline.
yeah, we were sitting at 438 before we applied for student visa. So it's kind of close to those previous invites, but then we're still lacking. Like we don't have any other ways to increase it, but to study or to gain Canadian experience. That's why what we did, like our strategy, like for my husband and I strategy, since we knew like if my husband will be the primary applicant, our point, I mean, we will be eligible for Canadian experience. That's why at the end we decided like, okay, my husband will be the OWP and I will be the SP, because if he
Mm.
applied for it, like I mean, we already immediately got our PR in our case.
That's right. And I have a question. Why didn't you consider taking a 1 year program then? If, for example, you already know, right, that you are going to get a PR before like 2 years. So did you consider taking a 1 year program?
Uh, to be honest, like we didn't consider taking 1 year program because we just want to be on the safe side. Like after spending a lot of money in Canada, like you don't want to go back home, right? So what we did, like, just go for 2 years because at least we're kind of sure we're gonna get 3 years postgraduate work permit as compared to 1 year postgraduate permit. Even though we're pretty sure that we will get our PR even before our PGW, even before my PGWP will expire. I mean, we just want to be on the safe side.
Right.
Yeah. See, that's a very, very smart move, you guys, because a lot of people is just thinking, I want to save money, I want to take a 1 year program. But actually, guys, you have to consider all the factors, right? Who knows what will happen when you're here in Canada? Maybe you cannot get a job, or maybe something happened, right? So if you have 3 years, you have time to think,
Mhm.
actually. But if you have one
Right.
year, the pressure is on. Like you really have to find something, and
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't really work very well, right? Or otherwise you have to wait and stop working, right? So that you will, yeah,
And I'm
um,
also okay. I
yeah,
also want to share that our path, I mean, our journey is really smooth sailing. Like we didn't encounter any problem because even before we came to Canada, we're already ready with IELTS. We already have our IELTS document. We already have our WES, and we already have reference letter. So I think I just want to highlight for Canadian experience class because they're considering your job. Like I mean, they're considering your experience. So for the reference letter, because reference letter will describe what jobs you are. I mean, what job you are doing, what tasks were you assigned to. So it should match to the claimed NOC. I mean, you
that's right.
cannot, for example, you cannot claim this NOC, but then when it comes to your reference letter or your certificate of employment, the job duties or description is far different to the NOC in the Canadian website. They should, I
Exactly.
mean, they should be cautious about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have another question, a very important question for most of the study permit applicants. You mentioned that you already have an EE profile when you applied for a study permit.
Yeah, we
So, so for your case, did you withdraw your EE profile, or what did you do when you applied for your study permit?
In our experience, because like what I said, like we were eyeing for federal skilled worker express entry, we just keep our profile activated because after a year it will expire anyway. So because I mean we were praying that we will be nominated. That's why we wanted to be there, but unfortunately we were not nominated. But the whole time, like when we were applying for SP, our profile is just there. But it didn't affect any of our application anyway. Well,
And
that's in
did
our case.
Yeah, and did you declare your profile in your application for study permit?
I did not.
You
Because
didn't.
we
You didn't mention it. Eh?
yeah, I didn't mention anything about it because what I feel like it's not that necessary because we're not really part of the, I mean, we're only part of the pool, but we really don't have any actual application for permanent residency.
Okay.
That's what it,
Okay.
because it helps a lot because what we did, like we just keep on updating. Like when my husband gained his 1 year Canadian experience, we just update his profile, and I think 1 week after or 2 weeks after we received the invitation to invite. I mean to
The
apply.
notification to apply. Yeah, invitation to apply.
I think
Yeah,
even
thank you very
before,
much.
I think yeah, I think even before 1 year we
Yes.
already received ITAS. I think
Yeah.
it was November or December we received ETAs, but then we decided to decline it because technically, like my husband isn't his in his 1 year yet.
Yeah.
So we just waited for his 1 year.
But when you were invited, your husband's point CRS score was 481, is it?
Yeah, 481. Because 400 originally we were sitting at 438, but then when he gained his Canadian experience, we reached to 481.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for those things, Abby. Thank you. So those are the pathways that we took for permanent residency, guys. So I hope you learned something from our experiences there. Now we're just gonna go through a little bit on each of the requirement for permanent residency application because I know you guys are interested about this, and some of you, just like Abby here, are preparing for the documents as early as now, even if you are not yet here as a student, right? Which is, I think, very wise because if you know what you need, even at the start, it will be a smooth sailing process for you, just like Abby's experience. So let's start with. So I just want to know your application is all DIY, right? So Kuya Elvin, your application you did it
All
by
day.
yourself as well, and Abby yours as well, right?
Yeah, DIY as well. DIY
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
So all of us are DIY. So for the English test, what English test did you take, Kuya Alvin?
Before I came here, I already had IELTS.
Oh, okay.
When I was in here in Canada, I tried CELPIP.
Okay.
Yes, and then I took I think twice of the CELPIP.
Okay. How was the experience, the comparison
It's
between
kind of
IELTS and
different
self?
with the IELTS before because this CELPIP is computer based
Yes.
and it's kind of easy but difficult, especially for the speaking. Because you have what kind of that? What's that? Allotted only the first section was just 30 seconds,
Yeah, I remember that. I also took
and then
selfie.
one minute is the was the longest. Oh my gosh! So it's something like it's really that's why
Yeah.
I think most of those who took the the self-pip, they all struggled with the speaking.
Yeah, me too, Elvin. I also took selfie, and I found the speaking part is really, really hard. Like there are, if I'm not wrong, there are 8 sections, and they gave you like 30 seconds to think
It's
and 1 minute to talk,
to talk.
right?
Yeah,
And they give you like weird pictures. So you have to describe it, and yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean,
Is it harder than IELTS? What do you think, like in
I would say
comparison?
because in IELTS the speaking is something like you still have a chance to think, and at the same time you are not something like time pressured because you are in front of the proctor, right? And here in self-pip, there's really a time beside the screen that's counting down. So that's why it's
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
yeah, it's kind of time pressured exam,
Yeah,
and the
another
problem
thing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead,
sige.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Oh,
because at the same time the what you call it the preparation is not enough really.
Okay. Another thing for self-pip, and I experienced the speaking part because you're all sitting together, like sitting right
You
next
can
to
hear
each other, right? And my seatmate during the time, he talks so loud, like I can hear what he's saying. Yeah, so it's really annoying actually that part. So, but in IELTS, the speaking part is actually you and the examiner, right? So it's and there's a real person that you're
Yeah,
talking to.
rather than virtually talking to someone.
Yeah. So you just took selfie, Kuya Elvin, just for the fun, just for trying it, right? Is it?
Yeah, and also that's the one that I use for my application.
That's the one that you used. Okay, okay. But the good thing for self-pip, the writing part is actually computerized,
Yeah,
right?
right. Yeah.
Because yeah, that's what actually made me took self-pip as well. Because I hated writing with pencil because I don't, I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
really
I feel it.
I'm always like, oh, something I need to add something, but I can't because it's already written.
Yeah.
But if it's a computerized writing, I can just like paste it on top and everything. But in terms of writing, during that time, because when I took it, there's still no computerized IELTS. So I really have to write by paper. So I didn't really like it. That's why I took CELPIP. But then again, after CELPIP, I retake IELTS because I want a better score in writing. So yeah. So what about you, Abby?
Like in our case, it's always times two because both my husband and I took IELTS 3 times. Imagine just 3 times because we have yeah because we have desired bad bandwidth. Like we were eyeing for the maximum, which is 9. So that's why we took.
Wow.
But luckily, my husband got it. That's why we got to 438. But I think
Mhm.
the hardest part for IELTS would be writing, like what you said. Like it's hard to write using your hand because I mean it's time restricted, so you have to think faster for all the ideas that you want to write as compared to computer based. Because for me, like in my case, I only tried paper based. But for my husband, I think his last IELTS or the second IELTS was computer based. He said like paper based is kind of easier as compared to computer, especially for reading and listening. Because
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
because for paper based you can write. I mean, you have something to write on. I mean, you have time as compared to computer based. Well, that's what he said. I'm not sure about it.
Maybe depending on the training, right? If you're trained to take computer based, then maybe it's easier. But if you're like, you guys took it like 3 times, so you're probably used to
To
having it
paper.
in paper based, right?
Yeah, and we had it like the gap of that is only 2 weeks. Yeah,
Mm.
like after receiving the result for after 13 days, like we decided like, oh, we need to take another IELTS. But for all our IELTS exam, we didn't attend any review classes or any sort of that. We just did. I mean, we just reviewed by ourselves.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I do have reviewers. I think I'm sharing it to the groups as well. So just in case like they're kind of interested for
Oh,
the reviewers, yeah, I shared it with the groups,
see,
all
guys,
Filipino groups.
thank you, Abby. So, guys, if you want a reviewer for IELTS, just type it in the comment section, and I will ask Abby to share it with us. Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so you mentioned your husband got a CLB 9, right?
Yeah,
So
I think it's 9 or second. He's here,
10.
so I just want to make sure like I got the correct bandwidth. 8.5, he said. Eight
No,
point
that
five.
for IELTS it's 8.5. So
Yeah,
that's
he.
probably CLB 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I think as
way
long as
higher.
I think the only mark he kind of missed was writing. He got 7 instead of 7.5 for you to
Okay.
get the highest mark. But
Okay.
other than like he got it perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, he really worked
Wow.
hard for the IELTS because I'm
Yeah.
kind of pressuring him during those times, like because we were eyeing for, I mean, higher scores.
But it worked.
Yeah,
Congratulations, it worked.
but
Yeah.
what's actually not nice about IELTS, it's only valid for 2 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Same
our
with me.
IELTS when we applied, when we were eyeing for federal skilled worker, that's the IELTS we used for CEC, and
Mhm.
it was about to expire. I think it expired just August.
Mhm. And because you also took IELTS, you also contributed to his score, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did. Yeah, I
because
did.
yeah, the
It's kind of,
spouses.
well, there was pressure on my part because if I, for example, like if I got lower score, it will be affected. Like my husband's points will be affected as well. I
Yeah,
think
so
that
it's
should be
it's
treated
really
as
a
well.
teamwork between the two of you.
Yeah, that's true.
Perfect. Okay, that's about the English test, and let's move on to ECA, or Educational Credential Assessment. So for my case, I did with IQAS, or I don't know how you pronounce it. That's the one here in Alberta. So that's for me and my husband. We did it, and I did it during after first semester. So I had a lot of time to, they during the time it took 4 months before I got the results. But it doesn't matter because it didn't matter because it was just like after first semester, so I'm still in my second semester when I started processing it, so that's okay. So I mean, guys, if you don't have ECA right now, you better start doing it because it's valid for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
five
I
years
agree with that.
And the processing time, I think right now it's faster, right? But in case it's slow, at least you already have your ECA. I know a lot of international students who already graduated and still without ECA. I mean, what are you doing? So you should do it while you're studying or even while you're outside Canada, because it's actually 5 years, right? So the whole entire process of your PR, it will be valid, hopefully.
It really helps us a lot, just to add, like it really helps us a lot, like when we already have the IELTS or even WES on hand for the PR application. So it's
Yeah.
better, like if you have extra money to go for it, like to apply for it, just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Kuya Alvin? What did you use?
Yeah, I had before West, and then when I already applied for PR, I also applied for the IQUAS.
Okay.
The result for me.
Oh, why is that so?
I don't know. was because for West, I just had because I had masters in the Philippines.
Okay.
They just gave me a 4 year degree.
Oh.
But for IQUAS, they gave me at least 1 year of masters.
Hmm.
So
So there you go, guys. This is based on Kuya Alvin's experience.
I
So
don't
that
know. I don't know what's the
yeah.
categories of
Evaluation, yeah.
they did.
Yeah, but for his case, he got a better
Yeah, for
evaluation with
IQUAS.
IQUAS
Yeah,
compared to Wes, right?
yeah,
So I don't. For us, we didn't use any other the other than IQUAS, so we didn't really know. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, but we got like for my case, I still got a degree, and my husband's case, he also got a degree, so that's okay. And in the ECA for express entry, if you got three years or 4 years degree, it's the same,
Yeah, it's the
right?
same. That
For the
that's what happened to us in our case, because both my husband and I just got WES because it's faster. I think it's only 1 month. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
they got a result within 1 month. It's quite faster as compared to IQUAS. My
Yeah.
husband got degree and mine is just 3 years diploma, but it doesn't matter because we get the same points anyway. So we didn't
Okay.
apply for any other ECA anymore.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's cool. Okay, remember, guys, for ECA, you have to choose an institution that is accredited by CIC. So if you go to a CIC website, you will know what are those institutions. Just type educational credential assessment. So only use those institutions who are on the list. Okay. Okay. Next, proof of funds.
I love this part.
Yeah, okay. So for proof of funds, do you need the proof of funds for your pathway, or you're those lucky people who don't need?
They're rich.
Yes, Abby.
In our case, since we applied for Canadian experience class, we didn't present any proof of funds, basically like zero.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to provide any bank statement or anything like that. So it's kind of safe for us.
That's so nice. What about you, Kuya Elvin?
Yeah, for AOS, there is no need for the proof of fund because the thing there is because you're working at the same time, the same thing with the CEC that
Yeah.
they don't need you don't need to provide them the proof of fund
Okay,
because
I
you
will leave. I will leave now because my my pathway has proof of
just
funds.
present them your payslip.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I think it makes sense though. Like for CEC and for AOS, the eligibility requirements it requires you to be here in Canada working, right?
Yeah.
Or at least you have a job, right?
Mhm.
Here in Canada. But for AINP EE stream, like my stream, you can be nominated even if you're not in Canada, in Alberta, right? So it can be from outside a foreigner, it can be from outside Canada. So they actually require proof of funds. So in my case, for me and my husband, I think it's about $17,000 around there. Of course,
Really? Yeah.
you don't want the minimum, right? You have to have a little bit more than the minimum. So just imagine. And my pathway for express entry was also FSW. So FSW pathway also requires proof of funds. So we knew that from the start that when we applied for PR, we're gonna need proof of funds. So from day one, we actually started saving. So all of those, and guys, those money are actually from Canada. So we saved up those money. So it's really possible, even though, yeah, we probably got a little bit of help, but majority of it for from his earnings and from my earnings as well. So yeah, so even though our pathway required proof of funds, we still managed to save up for that one. Yeah.
Regarding proof of funds, like for your case, like for AINP, do you think like bulk deposits are allowed to be part of proof of funds? Because of course,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
actually, they would require you to give a statement, right? But of course, if it's a gift, like they will ask you to provide a notarized deed that it was given to you as a gift and it's yours for usage. So you have to provide supporting documents for that one. Yeah. And by the way, guys, for PR application, I just want to highlight this because this is actually in my GCMS notes for PR application. You have to disclose your financial standing. It's not only the proof of funds. You have to let them know if you owe something, everything, like all your bank accounts and everything, you have to disclose it. So it's in the, if you click the proof of funds and there's a question mark, it's written there that you have to tell them your savings, your loans, all your credit cards. You have to give all the information about that. And
Just
in the
here in
GCM,
Canada, I
yeah,
mean,
in the GM,
financial standing in Canada or even in the Philippines.
well, they said all, so we
Okay.
gave everything. Yeah.
Okay.
So for the GCMS notes that I got, they actually mentioned there that they search for possible bankruptcy or something like that, possible death or whatever. Yeah. So just a heads up for those who want to apply for permanent residency. Okay. Let's move on to employment certificates.
Oh.
So, Kuya Elvin, did you have a trouble finding employment? I mean, asking for reference letter from your previous employers or
No,
for your employers?
no, that's the good thing for me because they knew already our status. That's why we gave them already heads up that maybe in this month we may need the the letter of employment. So that's why I think when we I knew already that it's gonna be 6 months already on I think in February I started. I already asked her to prepare the letter of employment in January.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Because
that's
you only need to present the one from Norquest, right? Your Alberta experience.
yeah. So that's why
Hmm,
I asked
lucky you.
to have that letter of employment ready in February in the next month. So and even the content of the because there is a
Yeah,
guideline also. What is the content of the letter of employment?
that's right. That's right.
That's
You
why
have to follow that.
yeah, that's why I already showed her what could be the content of that letter of employment, and that's what she followed. And yeah, that's
Wow,
it.
that's very good for AOS because you don't need to submit all your previous work experience, right? You
No,
only need to submit your I mean, Alberta work
that's it.
experience.
Yeah,
That's really cool because there's a lot of people, especially OFWs for Filipinos. We actually have trouble getting reference letters from our previous
previous
employers. Like
right.
me, I worked in Dubai, I worked in Singapore, so I have to like contact people from those countries from our previous employers, and it's kind of hard actually. And some companies, like I encounter like people saying that their company's closed, so how are they gonna prove that they work, right? So it's very tricky in that part, right? So what about you, Abby? Did you have trouble, or was it a
For
smooth
for
sailing so
us, well, it's smooth sailing, like what I've said. But I think for Canadian experience class, that's the most important part. So you have to, I mean, you have to be sure of your reference letter and your certificate of employment. Because for Canadian experience class, just to add, you can only claim for foreign work experience for just one NOC. You cannot claim
yeah?
for any other NOC. Like, because like for example, that's our advantage. We only work in one company, especially for my husband, even though
Mhm.
he worked in different positions, in different, I mean, different positions in one company, but he only claimed one, I think one NOC.
Oh, okay. I thought you can actually accumulate different
For foreign work experience, for
oh,
foreign work
really? Okay.
experience, you are only eligible to claim one NOC. But for
Yeah.
Canadian experience, you can claim as much as
Oh,
many.
yeah, yeah. That's right. That's
Like,
right.
like
That's
for
right.
for my husband's case, his first NOC. I mean, he has two NOC when we applied for CEC because he was in a different role before he got his permanent role. But it's just in one company anyway. But for CEC, you have to have a very straightforward reference letter because you have to match it to the NOC give in. I think in the Canadian website, like they have a separate website for your NOC, so it should match with your NOC, with your reference letter. At
Yeah.
least I'm
Yeah.
not sure about the percentage, but at least the lead statement should match to your
Yes.
claim NOC. Because if not, like I've heard a lot of stories, like many people got rejected because they sent or they provided a mismatched reference letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It's very important that your knock code, the responsibility matches the knock
Yeah, that's right.
code's
Yeah.
lead statement and main duties.
Yeah, main
Yeah.
duties.
Yeah,
And
and there's yeah. Go ahead,
Oh,
Anson.
yeah, and in our case, we didn't have any problem with reference letter because even before we started the SPOW pathway, we already knew what documents we have to submit for PR. So even before we left for Canada, we already have our reference letter on hand because it will not expire because you already left the company anyway. And
Mhm.
you have to, I mean, because it's easy to get reference letter once you are in the Philippines rather than being here in Canada. I think that's a problem of most people, like
Yes.
if they're
Yes.
already in Canada, it's hard to ask our previous employer for reference letter. And I think one tip that I would give, like, I think in the Canadian website, they will tell you what should be the format, like not really specific format, but what are the things that they are looking for in a reference
Yeah.
letter. I think you should tell your employer those stuff
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's really different. Like our reference letter in Canada and in the Philippines is far different. It's really different.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Kuya Elvin mentioned that as well. So in my case, yeah, I recognize that. So what I did actually to get an employment letter that will fit AINP and Express Entry Stream, I actually screenshot the the requirements and I
Exactly.
send it with the email request. So I told my employer I need this, and this is what they need, right? So when I got my employment letters or reference letters, is actually including everything, including the the number of hours
Mhm.
should be
Yeah.
there, your salary
Salary.
should be annual, or and the duties that you perform for AINP, it's actually there, and the requirements, the educational requirements, it has, based on my experience, the AINP reference letter is more stringent than the express entry. So that's why I asked them to follow the AINP.
Yeah.
So my reference letters, it actually hit both of it. So because I applied first using AINP, so that's what I submitted, and that's the same employment letter that I submitted for my federal application, right? So yeah, so it will help if you can explain to your employer that you're applying for PR and you need all this information, not just the main, not just the format of employment letter from the country or from the company that you're working on. And another tip, ask your employer for reference letter by email,
Hmm.
because sometimes the employers, they will refuse,
Yeah.
like they will say we don't issue this reference letter or blah blah blah, and the date stamps, right? You asked for it during this time and then they replied after a month. So all of these evidences, you can include it in your application that you did your best, right? You did reach out to your employer, but your employer is not participating. So all of these are evidences, right? So make sure you communicate with them by email. You can talk to them, yeah, sure, but make sure you have black and white that you really requested for the employment letters, right? Because IRCC, they won't believe you that you called. right? If you mention, oh, I called them many times, blah blah blah, but did you have evidence? Can
Yeah.
you give them evidence? Do you want to give your phone bill to them or whatever? Yeah. So just make sure you communicate by email. So in worst case scenarios that you cannot get a reference letter, you can just find your pay slips, or there are a lot of strategies, and this is beyond us, right? This is, if you want to use an immigration lawyer or a consultant to help you with this, fine, because they probably can help you, right? So don't, if you are in that situation, make sure you seek legal help, okay? Because you don't want your PR to just go away because you cannot provide a reference letter, right? So seek legal help. You can spend a little bit more money, but you make sure you get the PR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for reference letters. And what about police clearances? So, for my case, I worked in Singapore and Dubai. So I have to provide three countries, right? Philippines, Singapore, and UAE. And it's quite challenging because when I was in Dubai, they don't have, I mean, they are just starting with the Emirates ID. That's the national ID that they have in Dubai. So I didn't have Emirates ID when I left Dubai. So my police clearance for Dubai took me a long time, like 2 months before I actually got it. Yeah, but I eventually got it. And for Singapore, I actually made a video about making how to get your Dubai police clearance online. So do go to my channel and check that out. Yeah, it's a step-by-step process. That's for my husband because he had an Emirates ID, a national ID of Dubai, and he was able to get it in 1 day. And I was able to get it in 2 months because I don't have that number. So it
Really
took me a
long.
long time. I have to verify my identity with them. I have to send my fingerprints and all those stuff, right? So it's quite challenging for police clearances, especially for those who work in several countries. I think we Alvin has something to share with that.
Yeah, because I was in the UK. So before I left the UK, 2 weeks before, I already requested because I didn't have any plan to go back in the UK. So I requested 2 weeks before I left UK. So that's the police clearance that I had in my possession all throughout. That's why when I applied for PR, that's the one that I included. So I was thinking that it's just it's just 2 weeks, it's just 2 weeks that I didn't have. But the problem there was they still requested me a new one. It's just for 2 weeks because I already had experience with my wife. I also got her police certificate in the UK 2 years 2 years ago, and I included it to our application as well. But she wasn't able to, they didn't ask for her new
Mm.
UK police certificate. But for me, they asked for it because you know, it's not lacking for what 2 weeks.
Oh,
But that's why it's very important that even though we left the country already and we didn't come back, it's better for us, before we after we leave right away, we have this kind of that police certificate already because we can use it when we apply for the PR
but you have to be outside the country
outside the country. Yeah,
before you apply,
yeah.
even if 2 weeks.
Maybe for one day they will be asked for,
Yeah, that's right. So remember that, guys. So don't use as police certificate that was issued while you're still in the country.
the
So it
country.
has to be. So in case of Kuya Elvin, they requested for a new one, and that probably delayed your application.
Absolutely, I think so. Yeah. The thing is, especially if from the NBI, because that's the only one that they accept here from the NBI clearance.
Yeah.
Um, you need to have a new one,
Hmm.
even though you didn't go back or whatever. I think you have to to apply for a new NBA certificate.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's true.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So, lastly, about the certificate of nomination. So, I think this is not for Abby.
Yeah, I
This
don't
is
have any nomination.
this is just for me and Kuya Elvin. So, Kuya Elvin, can you share about certificate of nomination?
Yeah, I forgot to bring here the the letter. That's when I received that letter of nomination, or the certificate of nomination. I was it was just via email,
Oh.
and then but the thing there is the email was password protected, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why you cannot just open it. They are the one who gave me the password for it, and yeah, it just says that congratulations, you are
Nominee.
nominated to become
Yeah.
uh, AINP nominee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
the
it.
same. Yeah, it's the same as my experience using the EE stream. I received the certificate of nomination on my. It's actually in my CIC account.
Yeah.
So because it's linked, right? It's a AINPEE stream. They actually uploaded it there. It is. Oh no, sorry. I received it by email, but it's also password protected. But it's linked to my AINPEE stream. So
Oh,
yeah, and your certificate of nomination is valid for
6 months.
6 months.
That's why
I
I
can't
need,
remember exactly for my case.
yeah, that's why I need to apply my PR application within that 6 months. That's why, but
Hmm.
why should I wait for another month,
Yes,
right? Right after
that's
I
right.
received the certificate of nomination, because I already, what I did was, because I knew that the certificate of nomination will come anytime. So I prepared already all the documents, even the forms for PR application. It's already been filled up. That's why
Mhm.
when the certificate of nomination came in, it was just, I think, 2 3 days after I submitted my PR.
Submitted. Yeah. Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
wait for any one day or one month or next month you're gonna be wait.
Yeah, that's
We
the
are waiting for
beauty.
the PR application. We are waiting for that PR,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So don't waste your time, even though during this moment that you are already prepared already for all the documents, you're just waiting
right.
for that one. Do it right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's the beauty of being prepared with all your
Preparation is
documents.
the key.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. So now let's talk about the approval process, the PR approval. So when did you find out that you are approved for the permanent residence? Abby.
Uh, well, for us, I don't know how to explain it, but I was kind of paranoid, like because I think it was in middle of pandemic during those time that we applied for PR, so we don't know the waiting time because they told us like the processing time online is not as accurate as compared before, right? So we don't know when are we gonna be approved. So what I did was I tried to call IRCC like probably every week. That's how desperate I was. Yeah, because I wasn't working during those times, so I don't have any other stuff to do. So I tried calling them, inquiring them about the status of our PR application. At the same time, I requested GCMS notes for 3 times. And what else? Well, I think I was really hands-on with our PR application, and I kept on checking our GC key account, like if there are any updates. So I was really paranoid. Like when we applied on February, I didn't see any updates. Like it seems like it's not moving. So I was kind of panicking or kind of paranoid about it. So since I'm trying to check our GC account almost, well, actually every day, like for 4 times, 5 times every day, because you'll never know, right? And I think in the middle of, I think it was 3 weeks, 3 months after, I felt like, oh, I don't think I need to check it every day. Because I'm also getting tired. Like well, to be honest, like emotionally, I think that's the hardest part. Like emotionally,
The waiting game.
I'm already tired. So I think it was on the fourth month when I was like reading forums, like those people who applied on February already got their PR. Was like, I have to check our GC key as well. And I was at work. I was literally at work during those time. And then after getting off work, I checked my GC key account and I was like, there's I think it says application updated or profile updated. I can't remember like the status. And I was like, what the I mean, what is this? It's kind of nerve wracking, like because we don't know, like we may be refused or we may be approved because like what I've said, I didn't knew if we passed the eligibility, if we passed the background check. Like I don't have any idea for that, even though I kept on calling them, because whenever I called the IRCC or even in the GCMS notes, it just says the same thing. It's still in progress. So when I found out about it, I was like, what's this update for? And then when I opened it, it says approve, and I really cried hard when I found it, and I was in
Oh.
the mall because because I was working in I am working in at the mall, and then when I found it, I was literally crying, and people are staring at me.
That's tears of joy.
Yeah, it is. I called my husband immediately. I was like, "Oh, it's game over. We already got
Oh,
the
that's so
approval because it's
happy.
really quick. Like we applied on February, we got the PR
Yes,
on June. It's only 4 months in total."
that's so fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Congratulations. What about you, Kuya Elvin?
Oh, for me, it's I don't know what feeling I had during that.
It's a long game, hey?
I know because after I applied July of last year, and then I was still working, and then because I knew already that it was something like the until the pricing time would come up to January of 2021.
Mhm.
So we knew already that it may go further like that. But usually we check our CIC account almost every day. If not me, my wife would check it, and then we knew already the progress. Okay, it's already
Progress
30%,
bar, yeah.
40%, 50%, 65%, something like that. So we followed it already. And then June, I had really got a really a troubling experience because I checked already also the qualification for the AINP that in case you lost your job, you need to inform them.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right.
Anymore completed, it's not yet complete your application until you get your PR.
Mhm.
So it means I am still under the AINP.
Yeah.
So and I need to inform them, something like that. So that's why when I checked it again, I lost my job. I was laid off in June.
Oh, because
Then
of COVID.
I didn't know about it until I found out. Oh, I need to.
Update.
I think I received an email that whatever happens to me, something like that, I need to inform them. That's why I think it's June, July. I emailed them. I emailed that. Oh, I just want to inform you, blah blah blah, that I was
You
laid
got
off
laid
from
off.
the
Yeah.
job, but I'm still looking for work. And the officer just replied to me, okay, good luck.
That's so sweet.
So, but the thing is, when we check our CIC account, there was a change also in the processing time. They added 1 month. So
Oh.
that's why I got worried. Oh my gosh, it may go farther than that. And
Mhm.
that's why and I was really trying hard
Find a
to look
job.
for a job during
Mm.
because that's the requirement, right? So lo and behold, September 14, I got an email that it says here, I have this email. So it says here that a message about your application is waiting for you.
Best
Yeah.
feeling.
So I didn't know. That's
Is
why I
that
was
do not
so
reply?
I
Do
know
not
Yeah,
I
that's
was
the
so
reply.
best
nervous.
feeling. Do not reply.
I was so nervous about the content of that letter. But the good thing there that but the hope that came into my mind was really when I had three consecutive emails
Mm.
that with the same subject.
Message. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why
Wow,
I
do not
think
reply likes you. Three
that's why I
times.
said, "Oh, I think it's an approval already." I was
Mm.
driving that time when I received that, so I was so nervous.
Oh,
I was trembling, going back home because I think I I brought my wife to her work. So that's why when I came here at home, I opened right away my computer and then checked the email, and yeah, that's why I texted my wife that
Oh, that's so
yeah, we
nice.
have a surprise for you that time.
oh,
And really
awesome.
my son's reaction when he because he was the first one that told her that I told him, not my wife,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
just
because
texted
she's
her.
at work. Yeah.
And then I informed my son that we are already permanent residents. Yay!
It's the best feeling. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It
it's
seems
really,
surreal.
it's something like, I feel, for example, for me, I feel so stressed before that application. And then when it came, oh my gosh, it's something like a nail that is really in my body was removed.
Log out. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
game over.
Yes.
That feeling,
I
game
know.
over.
Exactly. Perfect. So thank you for sharing, Kuya Elvin. I think my experience is about the same as yours. So I got the do not reply followed by another email, which is a confirmation of permanent residence. So it's a no-brainer, right? I saw the email heading is confirmation of permanent residence, but still I'm thinking, what do I need to confirm? Maybe I need to confirm something. I was like, oh, so I mean, maybe they require a confirmation or whatever, but when I opened it, it says there your application has been approved, you are now permanent residents of Canada. So I was so happy, and I was still
Yeah.
at work during that time. So I told my husband to pick me up an hour early because I can't work anymore.
Yeah, I just remember our, speaking of what you said, the
Yeah.
confirmation of permanent
Yeah.
residence. I just remember our experience because for me, like I often check my GC key, right?
Mhm.
So that's where I found out that we were approved
Yeah.
in our PR application. And then it happens like we didn't receive any confirmation of permanent residence until
Mm.
the following day. So when we got
Mm.
the message that we were approved, I was like, what are we gonna do with this one? Because for other people, they have confirmation of permanent residence. So what I
Yeah.
did, I called again the IRCC just to confirm if we were really approved. And they said, oh, you have to wait for a week before it comes to you. And I was like, I cannot wait.
Yeah, so for my case, it came together like the do not reply at CAC and the confirmation of
Yeah,
permanent
yeah.
residence. And my
That's
husband
true.
got it too in his email. So I was like, okay,
Wow,
it's
you're
really,
lucky.
yeah, it's really a wonderful feeling, right? We jump and jump.
Yes.
I know. We're waiting for it.
Yeah,
And you know
exactly.
what's really funny as well? In January, I received already. It's not yet the eligibility because in our account, right? Because eligibility is under review, right?
Mhm.
And the thing there is, I think, um after I received my request for police certificate, the following day I already received the, how you call it, the pre-arrival services.
Oh,
Oh, really?
I was so, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. But that was so strange, because I didn't even they said it that it's still under review. But why I should be getting this email that I am already eligible for the pre-arrival services. So that's why. But I checked when we were approved already that I was already eligible since January.
Oh.
So my eligibility was already approved in
Mm.
January, and then um, it's continued there. I received the police certificate request, and then that pre-arrival services, and then a week after I submitted my police certificate, I had my medical request.
Mm.
Yeah, but only my son and me had the medical exam because my wife, when she applied for her extension of her open work permit, she underwent the
Oh,
medical,
okay. Yeah.
and it
So
was
she still have a valid one.
valid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When we applied, it was still valid, so that's why they didn't ask for her new medical.
oh, it's not
Okay.
upfront. It's not upfront
For
medical.
her, for them.
For her, it was upfront, but the thing there is, if you apply for the PR, you don't need to put that. Even though it's upfront, you don't need to put the medical because it's still on her file.
Oh,
That's
for her case. Yeah.
under
I
one.
think for AOS you don't need to do upfront medical,
No,
right?
no, you
Oh,
don't need
because
to.
for my case I also did an upfront medical.
Same with me.
Yeah.
Like for
Yeah.
CEC, I think we did upfront as well.
It's
I think
part
you have
of
an
the
option.
checklist, right? Am
Mhm.
I right? It's part of the checklist, the
And it's
document
always
checklist.
better to be ready.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, thank you very much. Wow, it's been 2 hours. It's always like this. We plan for 1 hour, 1.5, but it's always 2 hours,
So
right?
in case if they have questions, they can just put it in the
Yeah,
chat
so
box,
you
I
can
would
start
say.
typing your questions now. We have one more remaining thing to discuss. So the question is Alberta a good province to study and apply for permanent residency? So are you happy being here in
100%.
Alberta? Yeah, so based on our experiences, guys, we are really satisfied with studying here in Alberta and applying for permanent residency, right? Yeah. Oh, I think I missed one thing. Okay, Alvin, can you share with us the other steps after your PR approval?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I
yeah.
missed that.
So after we got our permanent residency. The first thing that we did was to update my SIN,
Yeah. Okay.
because when you are temporary, your SIN, the SIN would start at number 9,
Yeah.
right? So that's for temporary. And then when you are already a PR, for
Starts.
us it starts with 6.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's
So
why you need
update.
to update first your SIN, and then you can do it on in one day. You update your SIN, apply for your PR card, right? And then for us, we did also updated our our health card is very
Yes.
important.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
The difference is the same the same card, health card,
Same number
the same number, but the only difference is there is no
expiry.
expiry date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
are
Yeah.
already a permanent resident.
Okay. Abby,
So
do you want to add something?
For the scene, what we did is, I think during those time when we applied for the SIN, like to update our SIN, I think Service Canada in Calgary during those times were closed, I believe. So what we did, we just applied online, and
Yeah.
after 20 days or less than 20 days, we got it in our
Yeah.
email. So it
Yeah.
helps a lot,
I also did that. I also applied online.
and
And
it's
another,
free.
yeah, it's free. If Service Canada is open, you can get it the same day, right?
Yeah, same day.
Yeah. But it's not open right now. So another thing is you if you have a CRA account,
Oh,
a Canada Revenue Agency account, you will not be, if you're issued a new SIN number, the SIN, you will not be able to access your old CRA account.
yeah,
Same with My Service Canada.
yeah,
So you have to register again using a new account, using your new SIN. So, and then all the information from your previous account will be transferred, is all automatically transferred to that new SIN, a new CRA account.
there you go.
Okay? Yay, that's it. Okay, guys. Finally, we're in the Q&A section. Oh my goodness, it's been a long day. Okay, let's review the comments. Let's start from the top. Let's see who asked first. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see from Lady J. Hi, Abby. Oh, Abby, this is for you.
Okay. Hi, Abby. How challenging it is to study human resources in Canada? Did you need to have relative program or experience back home? Well, in my case, my degree back home in the Philippines is industrial engineering, which is really far different from what I am studying here in Canada, which is human resources. But my experience in the Philippines, I was a training engineer. So I mean, it's not that hard, but if you don't have any experience and if your degree back home in the Philippines is different, like in my case, it will be hard, I guess, because like you don't have any idea, you don't have any experience, like because they are very practical, especially in SAID. They are really industry focused. So your lectures, all the discussions are really based on the industry.
Yeah.
So I would say it's hard if you don't have any experience and if your degree in the Philippines is different. But if you have experience, even though your degree is different, it's okay. You can survive for sure. And you don't
Okay.
need to have any relative program to get into the program, to HR
Okay.
program.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to Ayinda O. How long did it take from the date you submitted your application to receive an admission from SATE? Abby, how long did it take for you?
I was so hands-on with my letter of acceptance. I think it took me about because I applied for business administration program, so it's kind of competitive program. So when I applied for it, I was on the wait list, so it took me about 1.5 month. But before that, I applied to three programs in SATE.
Three programs.
Yeah, three
Wow.
programs. I
So
applied for
you paid three times.
I did, because I like what I said, like I really want to move to Canada, so I applied for three programs, and I think I kind of applied late already. I applied around August for winter
Mm.
intake or September,
Oh.
so it's really late.
It's kind of late. So for me, for my experience, I actually applied February and I waited February 2016 for September 2016. I didn't get in. So
Oh,
there's no more slot. So I up for the next school year, September 2017, I applied October 2016 and I got my letter of admission January
mm.
2017. It was kind of long, very long wait. I didn't even know if I'm gonna get it or not. So
I think it. Mhm.
there
Sorry.
are programs that usually gives LOA later than usual. So yeah, it really depends.
Yeah, it really depends on your program. So might as well you can just contact this school directly because yeah, they know it more than we know.
Yeah. Oh, RR Denzel is here. Hi. Special mention. Okay, let's see. Sherwin Paul. My wife will take same course with Kuya Elvin. Waiting for Abigail's OWP's case might be considered okay. So he's just mentioning there that he's resonating with our case, with our situation. Okay, next is Ayinda O. For AOS, at what point do you need to submit IELTS also? Is it after the Alberta nomination is received?
No, it's during your application for the AINP. And
Okay.
the good thing there is it's not that hard for you to get those IELTS, yeah, IELTS or CELPIP, because the only thing you need to have is the minimum of five for each English language skills for NOC
Mm.
O 0 A or B.
Is
And
that CLB 5?
yeah, CLB
CLB
five.
5. Wow.
And then if you are working in a NOCC or D, minimum is only four for each English language level skills.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. CLB 4.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
That is the
Okay.
same thing that you will submit when you apply for PR.
Okay. So
Yeah.
basically, you need to submit it for your AINP nomination, right?
It's
Okay.
included in the checklist.
Okay. I hope you get that, Ainda. Okay, next, let's see Angeli's question. For the AOS, does it mean that knock of your job will not matter?
Yes.
Wow.
Awesome.
It says
That's
here
a direct yes.
most occupations under NOC 0 A, B, C, D eligible under AINP AOS.
I think
Wow,
that's
that's
the
great.
perks of AOS as
Yeah.
compared to ours. It should because for in our
B,
case
A,
it,
B. Yeah.
it's very specific to NOC 0 A and B.
Yeah.
But for AOS, like it really don't matter.
But of course, you have to consider also those ineligible occupations. But if
Okay.
you are in eligible occupations, you cannot apply for AOS. But
Okay,
it says here, most of the occupations under these skills, they are all eligible
eligible.
for
Most.
AINP.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, Miss Abigail.
Can you share in particular what is job of your OWP under NOCB? Well, for my husband, his first job, he was chemical production technician, so it falls under NOCB.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, next is from Carl. Diploma courses from Alberta are acceptable in all Canadian provinces, or some course needs additional government license tests on certain provinces. So, do you want to take this, Kuya Elvin?
Yeah, I think if it is for nurses, teachers, each province has its own how you call it eligibility for these occupations. But I think for any other occupations, I think it's all accepted and recognized by any other provinces. But not all with those licenses because they have different licenses for each provinces.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
have
think. Mm,
regular, what did they call that? Regulatory bodies.
Yeah.
So it's really particular about it.
Mhm.
okay. Let's see. The next one is Rhea. Hi, Melanie. Is the reference letter you are talking about the same as the certificate of employment or a reference letter from your manager? It's actually the same. Yeah, they call it differently, but they're the same. The purpose of that is to prove that you actually worked in that job that you're saying. So remember, guys, the express entry application is self-declared. So whatever you declare, they will believe you, but they will ask you for proof. So if you declared something that is not true and you cannot provide proof, you're in trouble. So yeah, so that's the purpose of the reference letter and certificate of employment.
And
Okay.
just to, oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to add about the reference letter because it's very critical for the Canadian experience class. Reference letter, as compared to certificate of employment, reference letter has your job description,
Mhm.
which should
Oh, okay.
again match the NOC that you claimed.
Okay, okay, okay. So probably different terms, but
Mm-hmm.
technically just follow. I
Yeah.
think in the Express Entry website they call it reference
Yeah,
letter.
reference letter.
In yeah, okay, yeah. I cannot remember what exactly it's called in AINP, but yeah, they have the same requirements. Yes. Okay, next. Hi, Melanie. For Express Entry, can you apply to eligibility programs like FSW and CEC? Okay, Rhea. So for Express Entry, you have to answer questions based on your credentials. Okay, and the system, the AI, the sorry for Express Entry system, the system will determine on which program or stream you will be eligible. Okay, so it automatically gives you the stream you're eligible to. So you're not applying, I want to apply for FSW, I want to apply for CEC. You're not applying actually. They will tell you if you're eligible or not. So it's like it's a system that's deciding that. But yes, you can be eligible for both.
For both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably the case for your husband, Abby, right? So
Yeah.
because he is
Mm-hmm.
qualified with FSW, but his points aren't enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And
FSW and CEC.
yeah, and I think I just want to share very quick. Like, I think I know someone like they are eligible for both PNP or and CEC. I think yeah, they're both eligible for PNP and CEC, and they were invited to apply under PNP, but they chose to apply under CEC
Easy.
because CEC doesn't require you proof of funds. You can just, I think you can just include it to your letter of explanation that you are applying for Canadian Experience class, even though you were invited to apply under PNP. I
PNP.
mean, that's what I know. To I know it to some. I think my friend did that. I
But
believe.
did they accepted the nomination or they didn't?
I can't recall calling
Because if
particularly
they're yeah.
PNP or FSW, but I'm sure like they were invited to a different stream, but
Oh, okay.
they just
Okay.
wrote in it.
Maybe it's FSW and CEC. So their points are enough, even though if it's FSW or CEC. So they wanted to apply under CEC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
both.
that makes sense because your CEC will not require proof of
Proof
funds,
of
right?
funds.
So
You just have to I mean, you just have to let them know. You just have to provide letter of explanation that you are applying under Canadian Experience. That's why you don't need any proof of funds, even though they invited you for whatever streams.
okay, okay, thank you. So next is from Jura, Kuya Elvin.
Yeah. So regarding with your 6 months experience, it would count once you have already the post graduation work permit. Yes, it would count because they will not count because before you got the PGWP, you were still a student. and they will count your work experience as something like eligible for this. For the PGWP, yeah. It won't,
Okay.
yeah, it will not, it wouldn't count.
Yeah.
Even
Okay.
for Canadian experience, whatever experience you gain as a student,
You
it
can,
will not count
yeah,
towards one
yeah.
year Canadian experience.
Okay.
It should be full time.
Mhm.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Next, is it possible to apply AOS and CEC at the same time if you are eligible for both?
I answered that.
Yeah, go
Before
ahead.
I applied for the AOS, I should have applied for that Alberta Express entry. Because
Oh
if
wait,
you're
they're
both
asking
eligible
for
for the,
CEC, Kuya, I think.
for the
AOS and
CEC,
CEC. Yeah.
but the CEC is under the,
Further.
because what we will choose with these two, because AOS is only provincial nominee,
Yeah.
right? And then you will go back and then transfer to federal. If you are
Mm.
already qualified, eligible for the CEC, you would rather go to CEC, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can move to any other provinces.
Yeah, it's faster and it's gonna be no hassle for you.
Mm.
Unlike in AOS that you need to have this experience and then apply and wait for the certificate and then before you can apply for PR.
Yeah.
For
I
that
think
ACC, which is the express entry, right? Because it will be faster.
it will be complicated as well because AOS is in provincial. I think it's provincial based,
Yeah.
while CEC is federal. So it will be complicated in your case. So I would say I would recommend just apply for CEC
Mhm.
if you
Yeah.
are eligible for both.
I think the main question here is, do you have enough CRS points to get invited for
CEC.
CEC?
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can apply, you can have an express entry profile and you can apply under CEC, but do you have enough CRS score to be invited for up for permanent residency application, right? If you don't, then you better continue applying for AOS, right? Because
AOS.
you are just in the express entry stream, right? You are just there in the express entry pool, right? Nothing will happen to you, nothing will happen, nothing will move forward unless you get that ITA.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you have a good score, enough score for the CEC, for the ITA, then go ahead, right? Go ahead with the CEC. But if you don't, especially for mature students, if you don't, then better find a provincial nominee program.
Yeah. That's the difference with the Alberta Express entry and the Federal Skill Express entry, because for these both, they are the ones who will going to get, for example, the AINP Express entry, the notification of interest, and the Federal Express entry is the how you call it, the invitation to apply,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
But for AOS, you are the one to tell the officer, "Hey, I am already eligible, so
I
Yeah,
I will
will
apply."
apply.
Right?
yeah, yeah.
They are the one who they will invite the person. But for AOS, you will be the one telling, "Hey, already I got ready, so I need to apply."
Yeah.
Right? So
That means the onus is on you, right? The onus is on the applicant for the AOS.
yeah,
But
they won't tell
for
you about it.
for AINPEE and for CEC or FSW, you have to wait to
Yeah.
get invited unless you get that notification of interest or the
Apply.
invitation to apply, then only you can apply.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
You just
that's
have to
right.
wait for them to invite you.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Yeah, it's the same question. Is it possible to apply? You what I remember from this lawyer that I always listen to, it's okay to apply for two pathways, but when it comes to your permanent residency application itself, you have to choose only one pathway. So for example, just like what Abby's saying, you are, or maybe you have a provincial nomination paper base, and then you are already qualified in express entry, so you have
Yeah.
to choose only one. But in terms of application, in order to get that ITA, yes, you can go ahead as many as you want.
Yeah.
Go apply to all the provinces or whatever, right? They will not, they're actually, their database is not shared unless you apply to the federal.
Yeah.
That's what I heard from the communication, the sorry, the live stream of that lawyer. Yeah, if I got it right. So next, Carl, do you know anything about the Alberta Student Entrepreneur Program and how to apply? Many thanks. You guys are very informative. More power. Thank you, Carl. So
Thank
I don't know anything about this program yet.
Yeah, I
I
just
haven't
started
heard of
to
it.
research about it, but the thing there is for the international students. So after you graduate, you need to have this entrepreneurial mind that you want to own a
Business.
business here.
And
I think
money.
you need to have money, but I think you need to have at least one third ownership of an existing business.
Mm,
The thing. And then at
interesting.
least I think after 6 months of ownership, you can apply for this stream. And I think this program is faster than the AOS because they want more investors
Yeah,
here.
they have investors.
Yeah,
Maybe Carl has a lot of money.
yeah. You need to
He's
bring more money
interested
here.
with the pathway.
Alberta will hug you.
Yeah. Come here, Carl. Come
Come
here.
here.
Yeah. So, the final one. Oh, we finished the
Down to our last
questions.
one.
Perfect. Would like to know if for AOS, is it required that our work in Alberta is related to the program we completed in Alberta DLI? And would it still require LMIA? Thank you in advance and God bless.
Yeah. So for this one, this is really an eligibility requirement that your work should be related to the program that you finish here under not Alberta DLI, but the publicly funded post-secondary institutions. Not all colleges are publicly funded post-secondary institutions. That's why you have to be very careful, especially in terms of looking for schools or colleges here. It should be a publicly funded
Okay.
post-secondary institution, and it will not require you to have LMIA because you have the post-graduation work permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's Queenie, I hope we answered your question. Okay, thank you. So I think we finished all the questions very, very good. I think we just go through one, two. Da, 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 da.
I think
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
I don't have
Perfect.
any YouTube. I don't have any YouTube
Okay, thank you
account.
very much. So yeah, we're, wait. Okay, this is not a question, but yeah, Ayinda said this was very informative. Thank you, three, for this YouTube live. Does Abby have a YouTube also?
she will make
Unfortunately,
one.
I
She will
don't
create
have.
it her own.
We are waiting for Abby to
We're
make a
waiting for
YouTube
Avis.
channel.
Hopefully, I will have some time, but unfortunately not. But if you do have questions, I think Ate Melanie and Kuya Elvin's YouTube is so helpful, and other vloggers as well.
Yeah. So also, if you wanna know more about Abby's pathway, or if you wanna get in touch with Abby, actually, you can join the groups. If you're a Filipino, you can join the Filipino DIY groups. We have a number of groups which are actually very helpful for applicants, right? Yeah. Another one from Queenie.
Thank
Okay,
you.
wait, let me see. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Queenie. Yeah. Okay, there you go. That's it for tonight, guys. Do you have any final message for our viewers? Kuya Elvin?
Yeah, I think for everybody, don't lose hope. Continue to um, to dream. If you are thinking of coming here in Canada, I am very biased with Alberta.
I feel you. I feel you, Kuya.
I,
Me
I'm very biased with
too.
Alberta. But at the moment, I think it's something like because of the economy. But I think when you come here as an international student, there are a lot of opportunities that will come to you when you are already ready to apply for permanent residency. Um, Canada is very open to immigrants, and that's why we can take that opportunity and then take that advantage to be here in Canada. So don't just waste your time just thinking. Move right, act right now. You
Time
act
is
right now.
gold.
Yeah, start
Thank
now. Start now.
you. Yeah.
You're
Thank you
welcome
very
here.
much, Kuya
Come here
Elvin.
in Alberta. You will love the weather. So
Is that a sarcasm?
no, you will love. I love the weather
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. See, some people do love winter. I actually like winter. It's not that bad, right?
Same here.
Yeah. What about you, Abby? Do you have a final message to our viewers?
Well, for me, I think just keep your eye on the goal because if you really want to be in Canada, work for it, work hard for it, even though there are people who will discourage you because you have to start from the bottom if needed. Just go for it. Like I mean, just fight for your dreams, basically. Like what I said, even we spent a lot for IELTS, even we spent a lot for the application form in the school. I just go for it because I want to be here, and it's actually great to be here in Canada. Well, I love living here.
Me too. I actually love the lifestyle here, the work environment, and that your work that your taxes are paying,
Exactly.
Exactly.
even though they're
I
deducting a lot,
experience
right?
that.
Yeah.
Even though you are jobless,
See,
it will be
you're
for ayuda
receiving
to you.
government funds.
Yeah, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. I think that's the most important part.
Look at this as your investment.
Yeah, it's a wise
There will be
investment.
a lot of ROIs for you. I mean,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. I think for
100%.
me, yeah, for me, my final message is I actually invited these two these two guests, which are very, very helpful for us today because I wanted you guys to know how is it here in Alberta, right? A lot of people are actually thinking, should I go to Atlantic? Should I go to BC, Alberta? So here you go, guys. This is not saying that you don't look for opportunities outside Alberta, but these two are actually evidences of being successful. Even myself, right, being a successful international student to PR here in Alberta, and the pathways are already here. It's not a temporary pathway, it's permanent pathway for AINP, right? And if you are a mature student, consider Kuya Elvin's pathway AOS, because the age doesn't really matter there, right? You just have to get a job offer. I mean, a job, right, related to your school. So there are a lot of things that you can consider, but please consider Alberta because there are a lot of good options here, and the jobs as well. We have jobs here as well, but right now because of the pandemic, it's not that there's not a lot right now. But once the economy recovers, it's a very promising province. And living here with 5% tax,
Yes, right?
That's the best.
that's the best,
Yeah.
right? You buy something, you pay $105, right? For example, you bought something $100, you pay $105. But for other provinces, you buy something for $100, you pay 113,
13,
sometimes 110, 115, I'm not
115.
sure. Yeah, so that directly affects your finances, right, in terms of tax. So please consider Alberta. I'm not saying you come here, just consider. Yeah. Okay, I think we are ending it here. Thank you very much
You,
for
thank you.
watching us, and
And
please support our channel, Kuya Elvin, and my channel as well.
Kabayan, Canada.
Yeah, Kabayan Canada. Yeah, and for my channel, Melanie on Demand. And guys, please share this video to your friends who you think will benefit from it, right? Because if you share the videos and you comment and you like it, the algorithm will pick it up, and then it will be recommended to other people as well, right? So it's gonna help more people. Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
guys. Good
you.
Thank you,
night.
Melanie, for inviting us here. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye bye.
Good night.